afternoon in Chicago, the Bears host the Jets in a game of coaches and quarterbacks. For the New York Jets, Bill Parcells has remade the team and almost personally willed them into the race in the AFC East. And he's rolled the dice with untested quarterback Glenn Foley, who starts his second game of the season today, while high-priced Neil O'Donnell cools his heels on the sideline. For Chicago, Dave Wannstedt is on the hot seat, under fire for the Bears' 1-9 record. And the Chicago quarterback controversy has come full circle, returning to Erik Kramer as the starter. But today, young Steve Stenstrom will also get a look, expected to play for only the 4th time in his career. The Jets enter today in a three-way tie for first place in the AFC East, but already New England has lost at Tampa Bay. Miami and Buffalo play tomorrow night, so it shapes up as a giant opportunity for the Jets today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soldier Field in Chicago. Tom Hamilton, Randy Cross. It is a giant opportunity for the Jets today. They'll go with Glenn Foley at quarterback for the second straight game. He started in the loss at Miami a week ago. Bill Parcells said he was okay. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, he gave himself an F as a grade because he didn't win the game, but he was okay. And if you look at his numbers from last week, they're okay numbers, but 48 attempts. This football team cannot get by with Glenn Foley throwing 48 passes. They have got to run the ball. And when you look at the Jets running game over the last month or so, there's just been a huge drop-off in effectiveness. You've got Adrian Morrell. He's a 1,000-yard rusher from last year. He's on that track, but this is not playoff caliber football for the Jets running the ball.
Well, the Chicago Bears have been playing pretty well. They haven't given up despite winning only one game, but they are battered and bruised. Two offensive stalwarts won't play today, Raymond Harris and Curtis Conway. The other side of that coin, though, Randy, is that it gives some other guys a chance to show what they can do.
Well, specifically, Tom, a hometown favorite here, Darnell Autry. Autry, the rookie out of Northwestern, last week 59 yards against a very good Vikings defense. He's going to carry the ball about 30 times today. Out at wide receiver, no Conway, where you're getting Ricky Prohl. He had a career day last week. Look for a short passing game. No pass more than about 15 yards down the field. Possession-type receiving, running the ball. They're going to try to do it the old-fashioned way and steal one from the Jets.
And with nothing to lose, they're going to look at some other players perhaps for next season. One of those, Steve Stenstrom. Coach Dave Wannstedt telling us he'll get into the second quarter in today's game. It's the New York Jets and the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field. And we'll return for the opening kickoff in just a moment.
What do Brazilian chocolates, Filipino soft drinks, German motor cars, and the South China Morning Post have in common?
You got to have this, and this.
They're all made in factories that use Siemens industrial systems.
Before you eat, or you drink, or you write, or you read, there is this, and this.
All over the world, we make a lot of things that make a lot of things.
So for this, or this.
We're Siemens.
We can do that.
Bob, Joe Gaddy. Yeah, I think somebody better make sure that Walt's in the loop on this.
Walt, Joe Gaddy. Just spoke to Bob.
Yeah, I want you to know where we are.
Well, Leo, Joe.
Joe Gaddy.
Across America, more people use Cellular One for more different reasons than any other cellular service.
Well, Phyllis, Joe Gaddy. I want to remind you the meeting with Bob and Walt is Tuesday. Yep.
Okay, Dad, you can use the phone now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, honey. No, not you, Phyllis. No.
Get ready. NBC's doing the full Monday. 4 comedies, each with a musical extravaganza. First on Susan, Tony Bennett is...
Stepping out with my baby.
Then, Fired Up's hot musical number. And on Caroline, a song from the heart.
It had to be you.
And on The Naked Truth, don't even ask. 4 musical extravaganzas. It's the full Monday on NBC.
What a night!
Welcome back to Soldier Field. This is Len Berman. The field conditions are good despite yesterday's snow and today's cold. One Jet told me he thought the field was hard. Another told me he didn't like it at all. He thought it was lumpy. Of course, these Jets have only played on natural grass twice all season long. They've lost both those games. Then again, these Bears have played on this field 5 times this season. They've lost all those games. So you figure out who has the advantage, Tom.
I don't know. Sounds like a scoreless tie if you put it that way. It has been a long time between celebrations for the Jets. Last playoff season, 91. Last winning season in 1988. And the Jets will receive a short kick by Jaeger, picked up by Aaron Glenn, and he watches it go out of bounds. So the opening kick by Jager, sort of a lame duck.
The receivers take the football, first down on the 40-yard line.
Bob McElwee, today's referee, and Glenn Foley brings his Jets offense onto the team. Here's the way they'll line up, including that right guard, Matt O'Dwyer, returning to a place where he played his college football at Northwestern, a teammate of Darnell Autry with the Wildcats. Foley starting again, Morrell the leading rusher, with Neal, Johnson. Corbett gets the start over Graham, and Kyle Brady, Corbett the leading receiver. Short drop, Foley on first down, throws it over the head of his intended receiver, and incomplete. Here's the way they line up on defense, the Chicago Bears. Four-man front is sort of a patchwork organization, so many injuries. Thomas, Flanagan, Simpson, and Reeves. The linebackers featuring Brian Cox, the volatile one, who is their leading tackler. Tom Carter, Walt Harris, two good corners, Carter and Mangum, the safeties. 2nd and 10. Bears show blitz, then back out of it. Pitch it to Adrian Morrell with nowhere to go. Stopped for a loss in the play. Brian Cox got the penetration, stopped him for a loss. And the Jets running game continues to sputter as it has in recent games.
Well, watch
stuff for the loss.
I'm sorry, Tom, right out here. Watch a little mismatch. You've got Wayne Corbett blocking down on Brian Cox, 52, the linebacker. You want to do that as a change of pace once in a while, but you want to do that too often, you're going to be opening up a new can of wide receivers.
28th time Morrell has been stuffed for a loss. That's second in the NFL. Foley rolls for protection, fires complete, catch made by Dedrick Ward, and Ward has 15 yards and a first down. Dedrick Ward, who had his coming out party against Miami a week ago, the rookie from Northern Iowa.
And the Jets opening up much like we expect Chicago to open up, passing to set up the run. Getting good protection for Glenn Foley outside of the pocket. Dedrick Ward, the reason he's getting the playing time is he's running precise patterns, and you know, don't put too little on the fact that he and Foley are very used to each other from the practice squad.
Morrell got a block at the point of attack, rambles down the sideline, has a first down around the 35-yard line of the Bears, knocked out of bounds by Walt Harris.
And this is what this Jets team really needs to do against the Chicago Bears. A 1-9 team, you don't give them life. You don't give them a reason they think they have a chance to win the game. Bill Parcells, guys, has to come out and grab this team by the throat and shake them.
Parcells saying that he thought his team had as good a chance as any down the stretch. Just keep winning. Of course, he said this was a critical game, one they must win against a 1-9 team. Lorenzo Neal carries the ball, stuffed by Jim Flanagan, the former Golden Domer, at the line of scrimmage.
And that New England loss today down in Tampa is huge for this Jet team. You know, the Jets 2-4 in the division. They flat out have to win the rest of their easy kind of games, non-division games, if you will, for Bill Parcells and his team to have a chance to win the division.
2nd and 10, I formation. Morrell, the tailback, as Foley retreats to pass and throws it over the head of Adrian Morrell and incomplete. Brian Cox defending on the play, and Foley does not look exceptionally sharp here in the early going.
Well, he looks a little jittery. That's the best description I can give you. And here's a guy that's not jittery at all. He is one of those linebackers that if you give him a shot to take a shot, he is going to take it.
7th play of the drive coming up as Brian Cox made that play for the Bears. Ball's in the 34, so with the strong leg of Hall, perhaps already field goal range. Foley complete just short of the 30. Well shy of first down yardage to Corbett, hit immediately by Marty Carter.
A real strength of the Chicago Bears defense has been their tackling. And anytime you play a defense that highlights about 8 guys near the line of scrimmage, you better be good tacklers. And Dave Wannstedt's defense is one that will really draw a bead and wrap you up.
So John Hall is on to attempt the field goal. That long of 55 yards was on the first kick of his career. The rookie from Wisconsin. This will be a 48-yard attempt.
Don't leave now, don't leave.
Hansen to hold. High snap. Hansen got it down. Hall boots it on its way, and it's no good. Had enough leg, but the accuracy not there, which has been a problem for Hall this season. Jets drive down the field, but misfire. No score.
Are you going to fix that fence today?
Yep.
1948 was the first year for Ford F-Series, and after 50 years, there are more tough F-Series trucks still on the road today than any other make. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough for 50 years strong.
It's been 50 years, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it's about time you fixed that fence.
Enjoy it while you can, hot shots. Your days are numbered.
Louie.
I know a lot of predators.
Lower your voice.
I'm very friendly with the snakes, and I know several very large ferrets.
Francesco Lafabula has just created the little black dress that will change everything. The magazines have created a frenzy, and you have sworn that your stores will be the first to carry it. Enter UPS. Customs gets cleared electronically. The global network kicks in. Also that at the same time, on the same day, the dresses arrive from Europe to each of your stores nationwide. Success is a beautiful thing.
Nice dress.
UPS, moving at the speed of business.
Oh, if only I could swim. I would swim over there. And I would go up and I would say, hello, I'm Louie. How are you? Nice to meet you. And then I would grab the heads and I would hold them under the water like this, like this. Yeah.
Louie, you are one sick lizard.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL. And by Compaq, the most popular computer in the world.
Chicago skyline is seen from a chilly Lake Michigan. Hall missing the field goal attempt, so the Bears take over just short of their own 40-yard line. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Kramer tried to pass, had it batted right back down in his face, and on that field goal attempt by Hall, this is, after all, the Windy City.
Right, and the predominant wind here in this stadium comes from this corner this way. Watch the flight of the ball after it leaves Hall's foot, almost literally when it clears the line of scrimmage. It starts going right, and it keeps going right.
30 degrees, 10 to 15 mile-an-hour winds to start the game today, and one thing the quarterbacks and receivers and kickers will have to do is gauge the wind in their game today. Darnell Autry got his first carry, and it was not a very productive one. Lyle leading the defensive charge for the Jets. Heck, Perry, Valerio, Berger, and Williams up front for the Chicago Bears. Kramer, the starting quarterback. First career start for Darnell Autry, the rookie from Northwestern, with Carter, Pohl, and Penn starting at the banged-up wide receiver position. Keith Jennings, the tight end. There is Darnell Autry finally getting a starring role. He's a theater arts major, a would-be actor, getting his first career start. He is the second leading rusher on the season, had 59 yards against the Vikings a week ago in a relief role. Kramer, it's intercepted right out of the hands and into the arms of Otis Smith. A gift for Otis Smith, who has been the target so often lately. He's playing like he has a bullseye on his jersey, and he gets a gift right here.
Well, this is one thing Otis Smith, though, has done a lot in practice, is intercept balls. Penn should have had it right in the hands. How many times this year, Tom, have we heard receivers talking about, I can't let the ball get into my body, bad things happen. I've got to catch it with my hands. Ball gets into his body, it's deflected, and Otis Smith on the spot. It doesn't make up for the toast jobs he's had put on him sometimes, but it's a great start for this Jets defense.
Third interception of the season. He has been beaten for 6 touchdown passes. Morrell, no place to go. Stopped for a loss of 4 yards back to the 45-yard line. Jim Flanagan, Brian Cox were all over Adrian Morrell that time. And Otis Smith, who was nearly benched this week in favor of Marcus Coleman, but Coleman didn't do well in practice, so Parcells stayed with him, and Smith gets the gift interception. Parcells saying to us yesterday, you got to play with who you have, and that's Otis Smith. Foley sets up the screen, completes the pass to Morrell with a couple of blockers, uses them well. Morrell picking his way downfield, 35, 33-yard line. Walt Harris finally got down the elusive Adrian Morrell on the screen pass. 22 yards.
Tom, a nice job by Foley setting up the pass rush a little closer than probably the coaches would like. But what you have to watch is the zigzag job that goes on here as he gets the ball and starts running. He's got blockers in front of him. He's got O'Dwyer there. He's got Duffy there. And nobody gets to hit anybody until Duffy gets a block well down the field on Tom Carter.
Giants win today, and what about the Colts beating the Packers? Here's Morrell, got another good block, dives to the 20, scrambles for another yard with Marty Carter finally covering. Overtime, Philadelphia and Baltimore, and Atlanta beats St. Louis.
Tom, on that play right there, the nimble-footed Jumbo Elliott from his left tackle spot pulled out and just speed bumps a defensive back. Watch 76 Elliott come out here and speed bumps a DB right here.
Do they keep a stat for that, speed bump?
Speed bump. That's better than the pancake. Because all the DB, the only sound that the defensive back makes is a thump thump.
I know a lot of guys that just go right over those speed bumps, doesn't even bother them. At the 20-yard line, Morrell is smacked to the turf by Barry Minter.
Well, early on, the Bears defense is making the point that, yeah, you might get us on the perimeter. We're not a speedy defense, but come inside where the big guys live, and we will smack you in the face. And Barry Minter just does a nice job of catching Adrian Morrell in mid-decision.
Well, it's feast or famine for Morrell. 3 carries for a loss, 2 carries for over 10 yards each. Swing pass, complete to Morrell. Goes one-on-one with Marlon Forbes, and Forbes makes the play, short gain.
Yeah, it's a problem Adrian Morrell has had this year, and as funny as it is, Barry Sanders, one of the greatest ever, tends to lead the league every year in minus carries. Rushes for losses. That was coming in, so already he's got 3 to add that to go up to 30. And that's part of the problem of late with this Jets running game are the minus yardage runs.
6 defensive backs on for the Bears. Shotgun formation, empty backfield. Foley on the slant, incomplete. Out of the hands of Leon Johnson, who had the inside on Walt Harris. So once again, John Hall will come out, and let's see if he's gauged the wind a little better this time.
This is not the direction a kicker wants to even think about putting that little draw gently from right to left. You want to nail this thing at that left upright and let the wind do what it will.
Little shorter attempt. This one 34 yards for Hall. This mid-range, though, is where he's had accuracy problems. This one, though, is dead center. John Hall nails the field goal, and the Jets take off to the lead over the Bears by 3.
In celebration of Disney's Flubber, Dr. Pepper is throwing a party. Cruise down to your local store and pick up specially marked 12-packs and 2-liter bottles of Dr. Pepper. You could win great prizes like your own Flubber, a Weebo, and a classic T-Bird. Dr. Pepper celebrates Disney's Flubber, coming to theaters everywhere.
It wasn't much of a gift shop. It wasn't much of a fire. It was pretty much everything to Joe and Linda. It was gone pretty fast. A small, bright dot in the night sky, then nothing. And by now, someone may be watching this and saying, not unkindly, but still saying it, who cares? So we just wanted to say, well, there's Joe, there's Linda, and there's us. Cigna, a business of caring.
Hey, Max. Why just sit around when you could have fun in the new Ford CX2?
Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide. Everywhere I go, your face I see. Every step I take, you take with me. Nowhere to run to, baby. Nowhere to hide.
The new Ford CX2. Grab life by the wheel.
Max?
My name is Anthony. I make it to midfield and back in 9.7 seconds. My friends think I'm lucky. I just think I'm fast.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Welcome back to Chicago. John Hall just made the field goal. Now will kick off. You see, 25 touchbacks leads the NFL. In fact, only 2 shy of the record held by Morton Anderson. Fabian Bowens is the Deep man for the Bears as Hall kicks into the wind. Will not be a touchback to the 4-yard line. And Bones with a head of steam right up the middle and just to the 34-yard line, a 31-yard return. Johnson with the tackle on special teams for the Jets, a Bill Parcells specialty. Didn't have a chance to set the Jets defense earlier. Let's do it now. 3-man front for New York, Lyle, Logan, and Douglas. The linebackers, Mo Lewis and Marvin Jones, really have rejuvenated their careers under Bill Parcells. James Ferrier, the rookie from Virginia, joins them. Glenn, the much maligned Otis Smith, who already has an interception with Green and Henderson. Darnell Autry, nowhere to go. Got a yard before he was collapsed. Dwayne Gordon was there along with Ernie Logan.
You talked about the linebackers, Jones and Lewis, reviving their careers here, with the Jets. A lot of the credit there has got to go to Bill Belichick and Al Groh. I mean, two of the best defensive coaches in the last 10 years getting in here and getting some hands on some guys that have not in the past had the best coaching, getting them back to fundamentals and motivating them.
Darnell Autry carries for the second straight time. Tunnels his way for another couple of yards before again Logan and James Ferrier combine on the hit.
Nowadays it's a little unusual to see a 3-4 defense this much, but watch the responsibility specifically in this area, the linebackers and the tackles. It's a 2-gap. You stand your guy up and you have your gap. You see the gap maintained by Logan, the gap maintained inside by Jones. That is 2-gap defense.
3rd and 6. Kroll in motion. Kramer sips it complete. First down just beyond midfield. Kroll with a catch. First down Chicago. Gain of 14.
Ricky Kroll, a receiver with the Cardinals for a number of years. Had a few seasons with more than 50 catches. A month ago, deactivated, complained quite a bit at that point, said, hey, why don't you cut me or trade me? Last week had a career day, 9 catches for 132 yards, and this is the Bears passing game. Quick slants, a lot of picks. You're going to see a lot of those short passes out of this offense.
Trailing by 3, Bears with a first down just into New York territory. Flags down. Might be a free play for the Bears. Incomplete intended for Kroll. Guarded closely by Otis Smith. It is offside New York.
Offside. Offside. Number 96. Defense. 5 yards. First down.
You're also going to see a lot of slipping out on this field. And when guys think they're going to slip, they dig in and push off a little extra, and you guess wrong, you're going to be offsides up front. If you're a defensive back and you guess wrong, you slip and fall down.
Through the first 10 games of the season, though, the Jets have been very good at avoiding penalties.
That's a Parcells trait. You look at that, you look at the turnover ratio, you look at the special teams performance. That's how this team has gone from atrocious to a lot more than average. I mean, this is a team that has a legitimate shot to win this division.
1st and 5. Ball just short of the 44-yard line. Ryan Wetnight, the motion man. Play action fake. Kramer across the middle, high and intercepted. Victor Green with a convoy of blockers ducks out of bounds at about the 45-yard line as the Jets have their second interception of the first half. And Otis Smith deflected it into the arms of Victor Green.
You don't need binoculars to see why Escort is so popular. It's a value so enticing, it's like getting cake with extra icing. You can get power, lots of power, power galore, to whisk down the windows and unlock the doors, adjust the side mirrors, but wait, there is more. Opt for a remote, AC, a smooth automatic, and a CD player for the music fanatic. And if that's not enough, you can get an anti-theft system to protect this good stuff. The buck starts here for Escort Thrills, somewhat higher, loaded to the gills.
How could anything this breathtaking be created from a $199 printer? Canon's BJC 4300 color bubble jet printer. See it, and you'll believe it.
The aluminum in your car radiator is as thin as this sheet, and it's the only thing between you and a breakdown. But Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming a zone of protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. Protect your car in the Prestone zone.
And so, the prince entered the sleeping castle, breaking the spell as
Hansel and Gretel came upon the evil witch's cottage.
Tinkerbell helped rescue the lost boys from the pirates, and they all...
Now you can buy children a lot of happy endings, because every time you use Visa, we'll contribute to Reading is Fundamental, dedicated to helping children learn to read. So please use your Visa card, because every child deserves a good beginning.
Jack climbed down the beanstalk, narrowly
Visa,
escaped.
it's everywhere you want to be.
NBC tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central. Seymour Pow. Seymour Wow. Seymour Pick Me. At 8:30, 7:30 Central. Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman, Chris O'Donnell, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. Batman Forever. NBC tonight.
Was that over the top?
Otis Smith has made 2 plays early. 1 interception, 1 deflection that led to a Victor Green interception. And the Jets have the ball in good field position again, their own 44-yard line. Play action fake from Foley. Wide open, the tight end Brady. And Brady rambles inside the 35-yard line. 21-yard gain.
You know, often, Tom, we talk about physical comebacks. What a great mental comeback for Otis Smith after last week, and Dan Marino really taking advantage of him. He's got an interception. He tips this one and sets this up for Victor Green. He is tight coverage right now, and he's exactly in the responsibility of the defense, which is something that Bill Parcells says he's got to do. He can't ad-lib. That gets him in trouble.
And immediately the Jets take advantage with a big play to Brady. Foley pops once, goes deep for Keyshawn Johnson. He's got it for the touchdown. Victor Green's interception leads to the 35-yard touchdown strike to Keyshawn Johnson, who split defenders to make the grab.
That was a job of on the run adjustment by Glenn Foley and Keyshawn Johnson. Johnson sees him fake that pump like that, and he breaks deep, and he catches a helicopter ball that should have been knocked down, but it ends up a touchdown for the Jets.
Hall for the extra point. And he just does sneak it through. So the Jets, thanks to the turnovers, up 10-0 on the Bears.
Dr. Pepper presents the lighter side of the game. Don't quit your day job.
All I want to do is have some fun.
Do I smile? Do I sing? Do I look mean? What do I do?
I'm so glad we had this time together.
Do I jump? Do I run? Do I hop?
Turn it up, love to pump, slam dunk. Inline or online, surf the net. Dr. Pepper taste to get. Blue jean, fly machine, football hurdle, space shuttle, free to vote. Yeah.
Now is the time. Now is the time. Dr. Pepper. This is the taste. Dr. Pepper. Now is the time.
Good morning. This is your wake-up call. And this is the Norelco Reflex Action Razor. Anything closer could be too close for comfort.
This is the Triton-powered Ford F-150, and this is a 102,000-pound earth mover. Now that's what we call taking the bulldozer by the horns. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Good teams take advantage of opponents' mistakes. Otis Smith has had a hand in both of those interceptions, made one, tipped the ball for another, and the Jets have converted the 2 interceptions into 10 points.
Tom, this is what you do to a bad team. You want to prove you're a good playoff team, you get a bad team, you grab them by the throat, and you knock them around.
John Hall's kickoff. Bowens awaits it at the 4-yard line. And again, he comes straight upfield. This time to the 25-yard line, a 21-yard return.
Now, this angle here will show us exactly that mid-course correction. The quick pump, the ball almost comes out of Foley's hands. Then he throws it up and says, go get it. Keyshawn Johnson, the only guy really with an eye on the ball. But I refer to this as a helicopter ball. You hit a golf ball downwind, it takes a spin off it. Foley threw that one downwind to put spin on it. The thing was darn near going sideways.
Fourth quarter has been the Jets' quarter, third in the NFL. And then taking it for 10 points here, Foley already with 100 yards passing in the first quarter. Tony Carter complete on the swing pass. Barrier makes the tackle. There's, as you see the other scores, Erik Kramer, who has returned as the quarterback for the Bears after they tried Rick Meyer for a while. Steve Stenstrom will get a look in the second quarter today. Kramer is a free agent, as is Stenstrom at the end of this season.
You know, Erik Kramer, though, Tom, is a steady quarterback, but he's nowhere near the level he was before he had that neck injury last year.
Darnell Autry. Autry's to the 30. He got only a yard. And we invite you to follow the NFL online at msnbcsports.com. NFL insider Gil Brandt explains why it's too early to write off the Cowboys. And Randy, you'll be taking a humorous look. Don't want to put any pressure on you, but a humorous look at how the playoff picture is shaping up. Plus, Bill Parcells will answer your email questions all at msnbcsports.com.
Well, you know, the media being what it is, the more humorous end of it, the easier parts with the bad teams. Nothing funny about winning, but some funny stuff about losing.
Jets think this is pretty funny. They have 100 more yards than do the Bears. 4 wide receiver formation. Kramer hits one of them. It'll be close to the first down. You see the spot of the football.
It looks just short.
Penn was the receiver.
I'll be honest, Tom, I thought he was by the first down marker when he caught that ball. They pushed him back.
Referee Foley has requested the services of the chain game.
Chris Penn in the slot right here. Gets a corner blitz going at his quarterback, Kramer. Penn didn't have to look at Otis Smith that time, so there was no one to knock that ball away. But that time, I thought he was by that first down marker. It's going to depend on this spot.
As it is, they'll measure. And it will be a Bear first down. Dave Wannstedt telling us that, yes, he's discouraged. Yes, he's a bit beaten down by the 1-9 record, all the criticism from fans and the media. He has 3 years remaining on his contract. What's he think about his job? Well, he says he thinks that Ed McCaskey believes in him and his coaching style and what he's doing. It's just been a combination of injuries and, frankly, some bad draft decisions over the past few years. That'll be a false start. That'll cost Chicago 5 yards.
There's a flag before the snap.
False start.
Well, not just the Bears guilty of some bad drafts. You look back at that period of time and you don't have people around. I mean, that's something, because you're supposed to build a base that's 5-6 years back that really is the strength of your football team, and neither one of these teams is looking at much.
And because of poor records, the teams have gotten some high draft picks. They just have not drafted wisely.
You just have rich, bad football players.
Rich is not all bad, I might add. Darnell Autry continues to find the going tough against the front of the Jets.
Rich, bad football players, Tom, lead to new general managers, new head coaches, new organizations. They keep the money, but everybody else around them usually doesn't keep their jobs. But, you know, Dave Wannstedt's been hammered around here about, you know, will he survive the year? They gave this guy an extension last year. It'll cost him $3 million to get rid of this coach. The problem here is the talent level more than it is the coaching.
And Kramer, who may or may not be with the team next season, faces a 2nd and 13. Fake to Autry. Kramer's pass complete. Caught by Carter. Fights off one tackler. Makes it to the 40 before he's thrown back by Marvin Jones and others.
You know, Erik Kramer and the Bears are running this West Coast offense. and little swing passes to the running backs. There's nuances to this offense. When you're leading a running back, you want to throw it in front of him, into his hands, so he can keep running. He shouldn't have to adjust back for the ball. You see Carter's got to adjust back, take his eyes off the defense. If it's thrown over the inside area, he sees the ball and he sees where he wants to go.
Had to catch it over his outside shoulder, turn back for the ball, then turn upfield. 3rd and long, Ricky Proles in motion. Kramer retreats. Under pressure, ball hit, knocked down, and incomplete. Second time today, Kramer has had a pass deflected at the line of scrimmage. It brings up 4th down. Ray Mickens on a corner blitz was in Kramer's face.
That looked more like hacky sack than it does football. See Mickens coming right here with that, gee, I'm going to fool you with my blitz. But Kramer trying to touch, taking a little something off it, gets the ball hit.
Sauerbrunn with a punt to Leon Johnson. Johnson to the 30 and knocked out of bounds. Lowry was first to arrive on the scene for the special teams of the Bears. 35-yard punt and a 5-yard return.
The punt covered 36 yards.
Tomorrow night, NBC Must See Monday becomes the Full Monday. A special night of comedy and music performances on Suddenly Susan, Fired Up, Caroline in the City, and The Naked Truth. You got to see the surprises they have planned. Full Monday, must-see TV starting at 8, 7 Central tomorrow night on NBC. Erik Kramer on the phone upstairs. Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator, has faith in Kramer as we are in the final minute of the first quarter. Adrian Morrell bounces to the outside, to the 40 and driven out of bounds. Does have enough for a first down. John Mangum got him out of bounds. But the Jets running game showing some signs of life today.
And with an old guy doing it, William Roberts at the left guard spot. Watch him pull and lead the way. Got a good blocking in front of him, but he gets a nice block on Ron Cox, and that enables Adrian Morrell to get that corner. You're going to see a lot more of William Roberts as the weather gets worse and worse here in November and December. He is just an old-fashioned bad field mutter from his old Giants days with Parcells.
Morrell dodged a man in the backfield and managed to get a yard gain before he's wrapped up by Mark Thomas. Inside 30 seconds, first quarter.
You know, Tom, this is a comfort zone for guys like William Roberts and Bill Parcells and his entire Jets coaching staff. They've got that basis of the old Giant days. They know this is when you have to go back to hammering people. This is when you got to start running the ball. Now, you want to lead this division. You want to be a division winner, which this team has not done since the expansion. You run the ball now.
Good first quarter for Parcells and the Jets. 2 interceptions, 10 points. And at the end of one, New York leading Chicago 10-0 at Soldier Field.
Can you send that? Okay. Bye. Okay, last time. You have your documents, passports, visas.
With the Creativity Imaging Center that can capture and send images...
Scared? This should help.
The new compact Presario 4800 series with Intel Pentium 2 processor can change the way you look at life.
Say hello to your new daughter.
The Presario 4800 series from Compaq.
Rocks. Some people skip them, stack them, or just plain ignore them. But then there's these Texaco people. They love the darn things. Yeah. Obsess over them. Go to the ends of the earth to find them. They study them, they scan them, even taste them. Why? You find the right rocks. You find the energy the world needs to keep on running. Texaco, a world of energy.
Welcome back to Soldier Field. This is Len Berman on the Bears defense. Tom Carter is out with a left thigh bruise. He won't return, Tom.
And all right, that means Terry Cousin just activated from the practice squad. A rookie from South Carolina is in there in the secondary. And immediately Foley goes to the former Bear, Jeff Graham. Out of bounds just short of the Jets' 45-yard line. Well, Carter either injured his left thigh or is off to the hospital. His wife, Renee, is expected to give birth any time now to their third child. And as of game time, she had not delivered yet, even though they thought it was imminent.
Well, you go and you find that practice player if you're the Jets' offensive coaches early.
Foley, Corbett makes a nice catch for a first down. He beat the linebacker Michael Lowry, and there is Wayne Corbett, who is the leading receiver for the Jets and starting to get more respect around the league, and a much underrated player. Interesting to hear the Bears defensive players say, you know, I never realized till I watched on tape, this guy's a good player.
Hey, he surprises people. I've seen over the last 2 years. He's quicker than people think.
Here's O'Neal spinning for a couple of yards.
And when you say Corbett's quicker than you think, it's really a matter of Wayne Corbett gets on a defensive back so fast, is so good at running the patterns, and is so decisive on his cuts. He gets to them in a way faster than they expect. He just does not look that fast on the tapes they watch all week long.
Corbett, one of 6 different receivers that Foley has hit here in the first half. He's 8 of 11 for 111 yards. He overshoots Jeff Graham that time, incomplete. The receivers of the Jets saying that Glenn Foley really comes quickly with the football. You make your break and the ball is already there, as opposed to Neil O'Donnell, who perhaps reads and takes a little more time.
But the thing to watch for is when you see these slow motion replays will run for you on occasion, Glenn Foley's ball is getting to the receivers just as they turn their head or turn their body to come out of a break. It's something that if they're not anticipating, that thing's gone.
It might be planted in your face mask if you're not quite ready. That pass behind Keyshawn Johnson. He was open. Foley threw a bad pass behind him, incomplete. And 4th down coming up.
Oh, well, so far for Glenn Foley, he's been sort of throwing ugly. No real pretty passes per se so far. That one was clearly just a short underthrown effort. The long one for the touchdown was put up for grabs. And, you know, the young quarterback out of BC had better settle down and take some deep breaths, or they're going to start going to the other guys.
You got a slice of tuna over on the sideline there, too. Brian Hansen to Hughes. To the 16-yard line. 41-yard punt, 5 yards on the return. It's a 10-0 game.
We come here on a glorious quest, a search for that which can be found nowhere else. Where, in the trenches where mighty men clash, amidst the echoes of glories past, high atop Olympus. Oh, this is our quest. This is what football is all about. Now all I gotta do is find that nacho guy.
2 tickets, $28. 2 hot dogs, 2 popcorns, and 2 sodas, $18. 1 autographed baseball, $45. Real conversation with 11-year-old son, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Accepted all over, even Major League ballparks.
My ancestor dreamt of winning the Highlands Open, but his golf wasn't up to par. So he designed a wider golf club for better control of his drive. Truly, wider is better.
Improve your drive with the Wide-Track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its unique Wide-Track design sets the wheels wider for better control on any course.
My family crest still bears the proverb, Nash Leha, Nasher.
The Wide-Track Grand Prix, driving excitement by Pontiac. Wider is better.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By the White Track Grand Prix by Pontiac. Whiter is better. By MasterCard, there are some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by IBM, solutions for a small planet.
From Chicago, Tom Hammond, Randy Cross, Len Berman, Steve Stenstrom, who has played only actually 3 games in his career, will get a time here in the second quarter, but not just yet. Kramer still the quarterback. His flag stopped that play before it gets started. And to be honest and fair, the Bears playing without...
Prior to the snap, false start, number 84, offense. 5 yards, first down.
John Allred, the rookie tight end from Southern Cal. The Bears playing without Raymond Harris and Curtis Conway, their 2 biggest offensive weapons. And not such a surprise to see them sputtering a bit.
Well, they're playing without their 2 top running backs, Rashawn Salam, Raymond Harris, the 2 best receivers. I mean, this is an offense that can't do it in big chunks.
Bobby Ingram is also out of the lineup, one of their top receivers. That time, though, Kramer does spot a man. It's Ricky Kroll open, and he's to the 20-yard line where he's hit by Dwayne Gordon. Second catch for Kroll.
And it's one of the things that's been an epidemic, or a lack of an epidemic, I might say, is the big plays here in Chicago. I mean, that is just so unsatisfactory. You should have 17, 20-plus in the first, 4 or 5 games at least.
And you see how important it is. Chicago, Indianapolis, New Orleans, 3 of the worst teams in the league in the top 4. 44 yards of offense for Wannstedt so far. Darnell Autry, nowhere to go. The Jets have been all over him today. Hugh Douglas was the first man to get penetration and pounce on Autry.
And when you don't make the big plays, you have to be patient and do it in short chunks, and you can't make mistakes. And what an offense doesn't want to do, it never wants to allow penetration like that. Victor Green does an excellent job of fighting right through Tony Carter's head, and then Hugh Douglas just fights in and makes the tackle.
From central state of Ohio, not too far from the shores of Lake Michigan, Autry only has 5 yards in 6 rushes so far. Kramer, nowhere to go for the ball, and sacked at the 10-yard line. Good coverage downfield by the Jets secondary. Kramer looked 3 different places, and finally his protection broke down, and Douglas got the sack. First sack today.
You know, he got that sack because he wears a baggy jersey. If he had a tight jersey, that never would have been a sack, because the sack reached all the way around the offensive lineman and just got kind of a finger in the jersey, and Kramer couldn't run away.
Sauerbrunn punting from his own end zone. Johnson made a couple of moves and breaks free. Finally knocked down short of the 25-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by the punter Sauerbrunn. 20-yard return for Johnson after only a 32-yard punt. It's been all New York, the NFL on NBC.
My ancestor dreamt of winning the Highlands Open, but his golf wasn't up to par. So he designed a wider golf club for better control of his drive. Truly, wider is better.
Improve your drive with the Wide Track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its unique Wide Track design sets the wheels wider for better control on any course.
My family crest still bears the proverb, Nashleha Nasher.
The Wide Track Grand Prix, driving excitement by Pontiac. Wider is better.
Important email, sir.
Wilson, this system does connect all our offices?
39 countries, sir.
At a cost of?
Over 4 million.
And it is meant to turn us into a lean, mean global machine?
Yes, sir.
But instead it tells us that some person called Corky in Denver is giving away kittens.
Kittens, sir?
South Florida, a true story. A man was out walking one day when he discovered a bag filled with jewelry. When no one claimed it, he ended up with over $1 million. When it comes to retirement, you can depend on luck or you can depend on us. Sun America. Ask about our personal retirement portfolios. And don't leave your future to chance. Sun America, the retirement specialist.
Got big plans for Wednesday night?
Yes, so?
Well, cancel those plans for something special as Dick becomes Lord of the Prance.
The Rutherford Bugle calls it Taplicious.
It's more than just another dance craze.
I want to learn.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime musical experience.
Isn't that right, Donnie, old boy?
All new Third Rock, 9, 8 Central, NBC Wednesday.
Todd Sauerbrunn, the punter for the Bears on the sideline, talking to the trainers. Got himself a little shot from one of the Jet defenders trying to make a tackle on Johnson on that return.
Not done a good job. He Bears 29th in net punt average, next to last in the NFL. But here's a sack. First Bears sack of the day, and it's Jim Flanagan. And Foley's hurt. Foley telling us yesterday that he was sore, but it felt good because he knew he had a chance to play. The Dolphins came after him last week. This time, Flanagan and the Bears get to him, and O'Donnell sheds the warm-up on the sideline.
Last week, 48 pass attempts, was still getting treatment in ice last night before we talked to him, Tom. O'Dwyer is beaten by Flanagan. That's a great matchup, and his leg gets twisted there as he's landed on after he's been sacked.
Foley still prone on the Soldier Field turf.
After Flanagan threw him on the ground, Mark Thomas, the defensive end, landed right on top of that leg. And this now is a situation, even if Foley's only out for a couple of plays, really tests now Neil O'Donnell. See him in the sideline taking the snaps from Duffy. You know, Neil said, I won't be a distraction. I will not be a negative going through this. I will stay ready to play. And as a backup knows, you got to be ready because you're one play away, and this may indeed be the one play away that Neil O'Donnell talked about last week.
As you see the scores from the late games today, Foley sacked and then Thomas rolling over him.
Yeah, you roll over and that knee scrunches up and the whole leg moves sideways. That's a test of your flexibility that you don't always want to be tested.
Foley's hit 8 of 13, 111 yards, and the touchdown pass to Keyshawn Johnson. So Parcells with a look of concern. He made the bold move installing Foley as his starter, though O'Donnell's numbers had not been that bad. Foley helped to his feet and will be assisted from the field. Put us back in your days as a center. How important is that Duffy went over there and got a few snaps for Neil O'Donnell, who had to be cold standing on the sideline?
Well, it's extremely important. There's two things that are important here for the Jets. One is it's a new snap count, it's a new cadence. Their minds have flushed Neil O'Donnell out. They've now been used to hearing Glenn Foley. They've got to adjust to his cadence, and he's got to ride his center Duffy. You've got to stay with him. The first instinct is to try to snatch the ball and run away, and the ball ends up on the ground.
We'll get a report on Foley as soon as it's available. So O'Donnell under center, wearing a glove on his left non-throwing hand. 2nd and 15. Play action fake. O'Donnell chased, sets up the screen. It's complete to Richie Anderson, and Anderson makes a good gain out of it. All the way to the 20-yard line, about a yard or two short of the first down. Brian Cox finally tracked him down.
One of the least talked about changes was Lorenzo Neal starting at fullback for Richie Anderson. Richie Anderson catches that play from O'Donnell, who got a lot of the protection that got Glenn Foley onto the sideline talking to the trainers.
It'll be 3rd and short for the Jets.
Screen or no screen, Tom, you can't let defenders get shots at your quarterback.
Here's the I formation. And the give is to Johnson, and Leon Johnson pounds ahead close to the first down. Paul Grasmanis gets credit for the tackle. Let's see the spot of the football. Close enough that they will measure. The Jets have taken advantage of excellent field position all day long as a result of turnovers and poor punting by the Bears. So they're dominating the game, but the big question mark now will be the situation with Glenn Foley.
Yeah, that's the kind of football that Bill Parcells wants to play, Tom. When he's playing a good team or a pretty good team like last week in Miami, he wants to hold them down. He wants to play field position. he's playing a bad team. It still remains field position, but you're able to exploit that good field position even better.
So Glenn Foley will go to the stands, under the stands for the X-rays, and looks to be in some pain. O'Donnell chased, got away, and then dives to the turf at about the 26-yard line. Barry Minter bearing down on him as Foley heads for X-rays.
Glenn Foley, a victim of the same pass rush pressure that Neil O'Donnell getting on this play. A blitz with Minter coming from his outside linebacker position. That's just a tenacity type sack there. Coverage down the field makes Neil O'Donnell move out, and Minter gets the sack after initially being blocked pretty good by Kyle Brady.
O'Donnell entered the game with 13 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions, an 87.1 rating, slightly higher than Foley. Foley had just been a bit more productive in the mind of Bill Parcells. Adrian Morrell to the 18-yard line. Marty Carter from his strong safety position with the tackle. Twisted left ankle is the report on Glenn Foley. He is indeed going in for X-rays. Twisted left ankle, Glenn Foley. Morrell's carried for 40 yards so far. And indeed, the Jets' ground game against the Bears' defense has done better.
Yeah, in spite of a few negative yard carries that he's had.
Right.
Remember, this is a team that was not getting more than 10 yards on a run.
3rd and 10 for O'Donnell. Has protection. Pass tipped and incomplete. Intended for Crabette. And John Mangum is the man that got a hand on it to deflect the pass. And it brings up 4th down.
The Jets here trying to get up to a 13-0 lead, but you know, you got a team down like this. It's not a very good football team. You don't put them to sleep. You do not beat them with field goals. With that kind of great field position, you get touchdowns. You don't want to put them away.
36-yard attempt by John Hall, who has made one, missed one here in the first half. It just slips through. It was tailing away in a hurry, but it gets through the uprights. It's now 13-0.
Looking for more space? Try the next Century. It's got the most interior space of any vehicle in its class. Because extra space is one luxurious touch that's appreciated by families everywhere. The new Century by Buick.
Hey, who's that?
She's here to meet with the big guys.
On a weekend? She must be a big client.
I think it's their life insurance agent.
Huh.
Have you heard from the quiet company? Northwestern Mutual Life.
Sunday. It's the day you call the most. And with MCI, it can also be the day you pay the least. MCI 5 cents Sundays. 5 cents a minute, every Sunday. Call 1-800-SUNDAYS.
Hey, guys. Need a smile? Call Domino's.
Yes!
A Domino's deep dish does the trick. An inch thick with cheese baked to the edges. And now at 3 toppings, $8.99. Any second, $4.99. But we deliver more than great pizza. At Domino's, we're delivering 1 million smiles a day.
Next Sunday on the NFL on NBC, a big doubleheader. The Dolphins, the Patriots, a showdown atop the AFC East. Marino and Miami face Bledsoe in New England. Then the Chargers, the 49ers. Young and the NFC West leaders host Seattle and San Diego. Or regional action, the NFL on NBC next Sunday.
Thanks mostly to Bear poor passes intercepted by the Jets and their poor punting game. The Jets have had unbelievable field position today. The average starting drive 47. That last one set up by the 20-yard Leon Johnson punt return, which led to a field goal. Bowens from the 10 on the John Hall kickoff. Advances it to the 31-yard line. Hayes makes the tackle, 22-yard return.
There's Glenn Foley's injury so far reported as a twisted left ankle. You see Flanagan will sack him, and then Thomas comes in right on top of him and on top of his leg.
And, of course, Foley first experienced significant playing time 2 years ago. This was a game against New England for the 2-8 Jets, and he may have finished the season as the Jets starter, but on the final play from scrimmage, suffered this dislocation of his throwing shoulder, placed on injured reserve after surgery. The Jets hope it is not a repeat of that scenario today. Play action fake, Erik Kramer, sack, ball's loose, Jets have it, still loose. Who's got it? Flag is down. What's the ruling?
Say that ball was kicked and moved forward.
Recovery is good. After the fumble recovery, there's an illegal forward pass against the Jets. That's a 5-yard penalty from this spot. First down.
And Tom, worse than the 5-yard penalties, you got to come to the sideline and explain why to that guy.
Was it Marvin Jones, the guy that tried the pass?
Well, you know, coaches tell defensive players, look, if you can't do something with it, you fall on it. And I mean, this Jets defense is playing exactly how you play a bad Bears defense. You get on it, you smack it around, and you cause them trouble. First, the sack by Jones. Now, that was Lyle right there, 95. Yeah. You know, defensive linemen aren't used to seeing the football. He didn't know if he was throwing it forwards. He didn't know if he was throwing it backwards.
He may not see it again after that effort. But if you're a Jet fan, the good news is they have recovered the fumble and once again presented a golden opportunity after the third Chicago turnover. They have the ball at the 15-yard line of the Bears. Adrian Morrell wrapped up immediately by Reeves. And for more on the condition of Glenn Foley, let's go down to Len Berman.
All right, Tom, we're still waiting to hear how the x-rays have gone. They say it's his ankle, though I saw them checking his calf and knee area, but Glenn Foley will definitely not return to this game today, Tom.
So Glenn Foley out for the rest of the day, although it would seem that the Jets have the game pretty well in hand at the moment. And the question then becomes, how long will he be out? Again, it's Morrell, this time with a hole. 5-yard gain to the 10. It'll bring up third down. Ron Cox made the stop for Chicago.
And here's the situation. Neil O'Donnell will be facing a short passing type down on a shortened field. We talked about the zip and the power on the ball of a Glenn Foley. Neil O'Donnell, it just seems watching him the last year or so, has got a lot less of that zip and power on the ball. This must be a very accurately thrown ball for Bill Parcells, quarterback, because the Chicago defense will be jumping on anything short.
O'Donnell from the gun. Rolls to get away from the rush and then cannot elude. The on-rushing Bears defenders led by Brian Cox and Mark Thomas.
Bill Parcells is not happy, I think, for one reason, and I'm not reading his mind, but I'm standing up here going, throw it away. Put it in the 8th row, but get rid of it. Don't eat it and lose those yards.
Something that a veteran quarterback should be doing.
Well, absolutely. But you know, Neil's always been taught, don't make mistakes. Don't throw interceptions. Sometimes you got to take a chance of trying to hit a fan in the stands.
John Hall with another field goal attempt. This one 34 yards. And again, it is good. John Hall has been the major weapon for the Jets today. I don't think Parcells likes that too much.
Teammates sponsored by the U.S. Army. Be part of our team in the Army. The Oilers' inaugural season in Tennessee has seen the blossoming of 3 very young offensive stars in quarterback Steve McNair, receiver Chris Sanders, and standout running back Eddie George. With McNair on the verge of stardom, Tennessee now has a trio of impressive weapons in their attack.
And he dives in! Air McNair! Touchdown!
It's freezing, it's quiet, but you get used to it.
you grow to love it.
Snow Fox 2-1. This is Snow Fox base.
This is Snow
Fox 2-1.
Then a storm comes up, and I'm the one who's got to get us out of here. And I remember who gave me courage. This is for them. For my mom and dad, who never missed a game. For Drill Sergeant McCardle, who showed me what it takes to be a leader.
Visual contact, Sergeant.
And for myself, who became one.
No, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me.
Buick LeSabre is built to keep you safe and secure. A comforting thought, especially for those who aren't even in the car.
Stand by me.
Tonight on Jenny, the girls are on The Real World. You know, that show where the cameras follow your every move? Oh, yeah, she's coming off real well.
I am not a shallow, self-centered gold digger. Ma, you gotta believe me.
Jenny at an earlier time, 8/7 Central, tonight on NBC Batman Sunday.
While we're away, Bill Parcells with his best John Hall imitation, and it's good. You ever seen a man with a 16-0 lead that's angry? There was a perfect picture of one as Neil O'Donnell takes a look at the photos from upstairs. While Hall will kick off for the Jets. Bowens from the 6-yard line. And ridden down about the 27-yard line by Hayes. Well, NBC tonight, Jim Carrey.
Woo! The wildest Batman villain in the biggest, most action-packed Batman of them all. Now, that's impressive.
The network television premiere, Batman Forever, 8:30, 7:30 Central, NBC tonight. And there's no mask or cape, but it is Steve Stenstrom as promised at quarterback here for the Chicago Bears. The ground game continues to be non-existent for Chicago as Autry is stuffed by Jones and Gordon. There's Steve Stenstrom in his 3rd year from Stanford, 4th-round choice of Kansas City in '95. He, they say, knows this West Coast offense probably better than any of the Bears quarterbacks. He did play for Bill Walsh at Stanford. The big question is his arm strength. He is a free agent at the end of this season. Dave Wannstedt saying the quarterback situation is the first thing that must be addressed, so they're going to give the youngster a look.
Oh, riddle me this off that promo with Jim Carrey. Can you run for your life and get yards?
Somebody. Stenstrom's first pass. Incomplete and not his fault. Autry should have had it.
Remember earlier I made the point of the backside of the backfield. You can't throw it behind him. You've got to lead it into his hands. Here's a guy well-versed in those nuances of this offense. Floats it out in the perfect position for his running back who drops it.
And the latest word on Foley is they're x-raying his knee as well as his ankle. A bit ominous. We'll wait for further reports as they look at the x-rays. 16-0 though. Jets leading with 5.5 left in the first half. Stenstrom pumps once and throws an interception. This is Otis Smith. Otis Smith for the end zone and the touchdown. Welcome back, Otis. Smith has been a ball magnet today.
Well, so much for the riddle. Quarterback A couldn't help but throw it to him. Quarterback B, Steve Stenstrom, threw it to him. And the same was Otis Smith the first time.
You think that isn't sweet for a man that's heard the boos, read the newspapers, much maligned, given up 6 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions and a deflection today, and the touchdown. Hall's extra point is good. The The Jets defense gets an A today. Bill Parcells, the first man to greet Otis Smith as he hit the sideline, as he has been recently, too. This time on a positive note.
Well, I made the point earlier, this defense is playing this Bears offense perfectly. And watch the way Otis Smith stays inside the receiver pen, knows the ball's being thrown, breaks on the ball. That break on the ball on that flutter blast that Stenstrom put out there was perfect.
Textbook.
And does he deserve a celebration? But Stenstrom had the pressure. He had Douglas coming after him. He had Henderson coming after him. And to put a little insult on top of it, Hamilton, the defensive lineman, wraps him around the head and throws him on the ground.
I don't know if you can get any help for that. That was just a poor decision by Stenstrom. And meanwhile, a tip of the cap to Parcells and company. They have converted all of those turnovers into points, and they were not flat. A lot of people said, well, playing a team that's 1-9, you're in first place. He said this team is so insecure. They were 1-9 a year ago at this time. They're not going to take anybody lightly, and he was right on the money. Squib kick. Picked up by one of the up men, but the whistles are sounding.
That was an accidental squib kick.
I think he, did he slip as he got there, or what happened?
It almost looked like his foot got caught in the dirt right before he kicked it.
The ball fell from the tee prior to being kicked. We'll re-kick it.
All right, Bob, alertly spotting the fact that the ball came off the tee.
Well, in that case, watch the timing.
That's like Linus and Charlie Brown and Lucy, isn't it?
Well, you ever try to hit a golf ball? Right before you hit it, the thing moves? That's pretty good timing. So he's trying to squish the nose of that ball down a little bit. I mean, only kickers. These balls are inflated. You can barely squeeze them, but only kickers stand on the sideline and squeeze the ends and squeeze the sides like a brand new football's going to move.
As if they're not going to bounce back, huh?
Well, even if it doesn't, it makes them feel better.
That's right, as long as you believe it. Hall not getting his leg into it as he has all season long today. Does not have a touchback as Bowens is knocked down by Soule. And we invite you to join us for more exciting NFL action next Sunday. Doubleheader starts at 12 noon Eastern. The NFL on NBC kicks things off. Then game one, most of you will see the Dolphins take on the Patriots, a key AFC East showdown. Others see the Steelers battle the Eagles or regional action. Game two, most of you will see the Chargers face the 49ers. Others will see the Chiefs take on the Seahawks or the Jaguars battle the Bengals. Check your local listings for the games in your area. The NFL on NBC, a doubleheader next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern.
A year ago, I'd have had myself committed for making a statement like this, but those teams, Miami and New England, have to win. That's a must-win to keep pace with the Jets.
I know. What about that?
The only people keeping pace with the Jets last year were the ones trying to get Peyton Manning to come out his junior year.
Well, Bill Parcells has remade this Jets team, not only with a turnover in personnel, but a turnover in attitude. And he was very positive to his team all week in practice and to us yesterday, saying, we have as good a chance as anybody in that AFC East race. All we need to do is keep winning. And, of course, because of their poor record from a year ago, their schedule has been all season long a bit easier than some of the other contenders.
And the mission now for Bill Parcells and Neil O'Donnell is a consistent, adequate offense. The offense is nowhere near what you'd call sparkling today. This is a defensive game for the New York Jets. Bill Belichick, Al Groh and company on the defensive side have put together a great game plan that specifically by the defensive backs like Otis Smith and Victor Green is being executed perfectly.
Otis Smith having the big day. Bowens of the Bears a bit shaken up, left the field under his own power. And Steve Stenstrom back for his second series at quarterback. The first one ending disastrously as Smith picked off a pass for a touchdown. Darnell Autry picking his way to the 30, and Dave Wannstedt said early in the rookie's career he was sort of getting to the hole and dancing around, but he'd been much better lately, hitting the hole full speed like they wanted him to. Didn't look like it there.
Well, you know, and this Chicago offensive line is a big, physical, mauling kind of offensive line that really gets into you. Look at Jennings, that tight end. I mean, Jennings is 6'5", about 275, but you're seeing a Jets defense just two gaps, stuffing them and not letting them go anywhere.
Jacksonville with a big win over Tennessee today. Here's Autry squeezing through the hole and making his best gain of the day to the 36-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and short for the Bears. Mo Lewis finally tackled Darnell Autry.
You know, sometimes you see running backs stunned by hits. Darnell Autry seems like to be stunned by openness. He gets to the line of scrimmage, there's nothing in front of him. It surprised him so much, it's like it threw his balance off.
Stenstrom nearly fumbled the snap. You see him clutch it a second time. There's Autry, the theater arts major, the would-be actor who left Northwestern as a junior. As a youngster, he said always a ham. He always found the camera. Really got into theater as a freshman at Northwestern. Stenstrom's pass is complete. Ricky Prohl wrestled down a yard short, and then a flag comes down.
That's going to be an unnecessary roughness. Roughing the passer on Jerome Henderson.
Foul, roughing the passer, 26 defense. 15-yard penalty on the end of the play. First down.
Jerome Henderson with an ill-advised penalty. They had him stopped short of the first down.
Well, you know the category dumb plays. Parcells talks about I can't stand dumb plays. The leading contender so far on this Sunday, there is a dumb play.
Double dumb.
Completely unnecessary. That was stupid.
So Henderson's boner puts it at the 49 of the Jets.
And that's the kind of aggressiveness. You know, Matt O'Dwyer on the offensive side has been fined by Parcells for doing stupid aggressive things. That is a stupid aggressive thing.
Short drop, Stenstrom's pass. Not close to Penn.
You know, Tom, Dave Wannstedt admitted when he talked to us on Saturday that, you know, yes, it's not fair to this young quarterback to just say, hey, I'm going to stick him in there. But Dave Wannstedt's got to see what this guy can do. You know, so far it's been sort of like that great radio announcer Paul Harvey. So now you know. And what do you know isn't good right now to this point for Steve Stenstrom.
And the rest of the story may be that Stenstrom is gone from this team. He is a free agent, so is Erik Kramer. They have Rick Meyer, and Wannstedt says they haven't given up on him, though he certainly has been in the doghouse. You couldn't tell it by the way they've had him as the 3rd quarterback in recent games. Stenstrom's pass knocked down. And Aaron Glenn, they tried him one time. They've been picking on Otis Smith, and Smith was getting the job done, so let's say, well, let's try Glenn.
Well, we saw that helicopter ball I described that Foley put up earlier for a touchdown. Well, that's a sort of a weather balloon drop, because that one comes up out of the air. That one is up for grabs. Whether you got on the Chicago blue or the Jets white, that's whoever wants it. Aaron Glenn had it, but he couldn't hold it.
Stenstrom 1 of 5, including the interception for a touchdown so far, as Glenn made the play. Pressure, Stenstrom sacked. It's Mickens on the blitz. Third sack for the Jets defense today.
And another great defensive call. Here's Mickens out of the slot. We saw it earlier. Mickens flat out coming, and Stenstrom never feels him, never sees him. A veteran knows that's coming.
Jeff Jager was on to punt. Remember, Sauerbrunn was hurt earlier. And there's a pretty good illustration of why Jager doesn't punt. Flag down.
We might get a chance to do it again.
Ineligible downfield on a punt. They'll decline that foul. First down.
Well, that was an 18-yard effort by Jeff Jager. And the Bears just looking for anybody that can play at this point.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, you'd almost be handing out bus tickets here. You got Bears Alley here down to the left. They got the covered area there. It's almost like you have your little plane tickets out of town. You get one. Here's an apple and a road map. We'll see you later.
Jager, the latest Bear to be shaking his head in disgust, with 3:14 left in the second quarter in a 23-0 New York lead. Pitch to Morrell on the sweep. Didn't get much to the line of scrimmage, perhaps a yard. John Mangum makes the stop. Mangum, the free safety from McGee, Mississippi, a town of only a couple of thousand. His dad, his late dad, John, played in the old AFL with the New England Patriots. His brother, Chris, who went to Ole Miss, now plays for the Carolina Panthers. And how do you like this? John Wayne Mangum Jr., the Duke.
You asked him yesterday, I said, you ever think of playing any other sports? He goes, I don't know. My first picture as a kid, I had a football in my hands and a helmet on my head.
Delayed handoff. Approaching the 2-minute warning. Richie Anderson on that carry. Latest injury news for the Bears, Todd Sauerbrunn, slight concussion, unlikely that he would return to the game, which is bad news if you're Jeff Jager.
Well, Jager's used to hitting those balls that are sitting there. Those stationary footballs. It's a lot different when you're trying to drop them on your foot.
Coming down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left in the first half. A half dominated by the New York Jets.
It doesn't matter if you work for a big company or a startup.
Whether you work for yourself or to help others.
Fidelity has a way to help you prepare for the day when you won't need to work at all.
Whether you're changing jobs,
Or happy where you are.
retired,
Or just starting out.
more people trust their retirement plans to Fidelity than any other company.
It's your retirement.
It's our job to help you make the most of it.
Mom's calling Enterprise Rent-A-Car because our car is sick.
Enterprise will arrange to pick you up,
Wow!
drive you to our place, and get you on your way.
Everybody loves to be picked up.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
My name is Jim, and I am the beer man, and I'm proud to sell this Coors Light. So please do not call me beer dude. Don't yell beer jockey, barley boy, or suds buddy, and I'll be happy to pour you a frost brewed Coors Light. Stay away from Brew Brother, Captain Cup, and Sir Pour-A-Lot, and you'll get your Rocky Mountain refreshment faster than you can say Lager Lugger. I am beer man.
Hey, beer stud.
Coming.
Hey, NFL fans, do us a favor, please. Put something on. Like officially licensed NFL merchandise at Goodyear. Right now, get some of Goodyear's best selected tires like Aquatreads, Eagles, and Wranglers. And get $50 or $75 good towards officially licensed NFL merchandise at participating Goodyear retailers. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR for the retailer nearest you. Great Goodyear treads, incredible NFL threads. Oh, nice fashion statement, fella.
Coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime reports. Greg, Chris, and Sam. All the scores and highlights of today's action coming up at halftime. 2 minutes left until halftime. Third down play for Neil O'Donnell from the shotgun. 6 defensive backs for the Bears. Pressure on O'Donnell, and the ball dropped by Wayne Krabet. The normally sure-handed Krabet, who figured in that controversial play a week ago against the Dolphins, does fumble that one.
Well, you know, and I mentioned earlier, this is a defensive effort for the Jets so far. This is very uncharacteristic for Wayne Krabet to drop the ball, but this offense has got to get something going on. Because if Glenn Foley is indeed hurt, Neil O'Donnell's got to lead this offense, and it's not doing anything.
Hanson to punt. Low punt. Line drive takes a Jets bounce and will roll inside the 20. 39-yard punt thanks to a generous roll as Erik Kramer set to return at quarterback for the Bears. Here's the sorry tale of quarterbacks for the Bears offense, which has gone into hibernation early.
They've completed 9 passes. 3 to the Jets defenders, but 9 passes. And for Dave Wannstedt's quarterbacks, it's a situation. They're not getting the protection against a defense that coming into this game is one of the worst in the league at getting after an opposing quarterback.
Kramer ought to pass at his chin strap. Short drop. Wide open wet night across the middle has a first down. Fighting his way as a flag comes down to the 35-yard line. Victor Green, the first to hit Ryan Wetnight.
Five-yard face mask. 41 defense. Enforce that from the end of the play. 5 yards. First down.
See, there's two kinds of modes, Tom. Either if you're a quarterback, you have your baseball cap on. But if you're on the sideline, look at it right here. See that face, that chin strap? Watch the chin strap is double strapped over.
Ah, now he found it. Now he goes.
There you go. That's so it doesn't dangle in your face when you're on the sideline trying to look cool, because nothing's more uncool than a dangling chin strap.
I'm impressed with the way you take off your gloves to work that telestring. Kramer. Again, headed for Wetnight. He was lucky that one wasn't picked off by Henderson.
Recovery to Jerome Henderson. Second and 10, the Bears, 39.
Clock now shows 1:32 remaining first half.
And this is a part of the game I'm sure the Jets spent a little extra time on this week. Last week, Dan Marino just shredded them at the end of the half. Very important to improve every week on some little facet. This would be one.
May have been the first time that anyone has ever compared Erik Kramer to Dan Marino.
Don't take that in any way as a comparison of Dan Marino to Erik Kramer or the Bears offense that Dave Wannstedt's putting on the field right now.
Chad Cascadden takes a turn at getting in the face of Kramer, causing that incompletion.
You mentioned Matt Kavanaugh, one of my old teammates from San Francisco. San Francisco's the offensive coordinator, running a very much a San Francisco style offense in theory. There's Matt right there. And I say theory because in performance, this isn't Modesto football, much less San Francisco football.
Another interception. The hat trick for Kramer. This is Victor Green's second. Smith has 2. Green has 2. 25 yards on the return, and Kramer will not celebrate his hat trick. His third interception. Stenstrom has 1.
Well, this qualifies as a right now, what are you thinking? Who are you throwing to? And if his number's 21, you got to check an eye chart because he's not on your side. Victor Green playing that deep middle just had the ball thrown right between the 2 and the 1 on his Jets jersey.
So Green has 2 interceptions. The Jets have 4 total. Bears quarterbacks have thrown 4 interceptions. Jets quarterbacks, on the other hand, have only 4 all season long. Morrell, short gain. Brian Cox made sure of that. Harris comes up shoving.
I talked about Matt O'Dwyer, the guard, getting fined by Bill Parcells for over-aggressiveness. He right there got in a little pushing and shoving punching match with Flanagan, the defensive tackle. This is a guy who's got the world of ability, but he's just got to get himself a little steam vent that he can release the steam a little bit so he quits going quite as crazy.
Parcells saying he'll play the way I want him to, or he won't be here. Fumble picked up by Chicago. Ward fumbled the ball, and the Bears have a turnover with 38 seconds left. Anthony Marshall picked up the fumble by Dedrick Ward.
Any questions or doubt as to whether or not this is a defensive dominated game by the New York Jets? The Bears offense is terrible, and up until that fumble, the Jets offense was only just kind of bad. They're stumbling and bumbling towards bad.
Jim Flanagan knocked the ball loose as Parcells' Jets turn it over for the first time.
This is a defense that you can win a division with. This is an offense that puts you in the top 5 draft.
First turnover for the Jets after Chicago has committed 5 in the first half. Whistle blows that play dead. False start against the Bears, who can't stand prosperity.
Prior to the snap, False start, 86, offense. 5 yards, first down.
Chris Penn's had a rough day in his starting role.
Well, it's better than 50% completion. Am I being an optimist here or what?
Yes, that's...
Well, if you're a Bears fan, I don't think it's called optimism.
Short game, Tony Carter on the receiving end of the pass. Timeout taken by Kramer. So the Bears call timeout. 29 seconds left, first half.
Who are these people? They go to the strangest places, work in the tightest quarters, and gladly keep the oddest hours. Who are they? Forever probing and prodding, digging, exploring. Who are these people? They are Texaco, and what they do is find the energy the world needs to keep on running. Texaco, a world of energy.
23-0 as the Bears offense continues to give the West Coast offense a bad name.
I told you in the break, I've got 3 or 4 of my old playbooks from San Francisco with that West Coast offense, and this offense isn't in any one of those playbooks. Not the way this is being executed.
And again, they're playing without some major weapons. Without Ingram, without Conway, without Raymond Harris.
Without a clue.
No quarter shown by Randy Cross here in the first half. Ricky Prohl caught from behind by Mickens. And another timeout by Chicago as the ball will be just short of the Jet 35-yard line. Next Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, the world's best 3-on-3 players challenge NBA stars of yesterday and WNBA stars of today, featuring Lisa Leslie and heralded playground stars versus the pros on the Hoop It Up Court of Dreams. Next Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on NBC.
And one of the few positive offensively so far for the Bears, Ricky Prohl has got himself a few passes, got up slowly on that last play. And anytime you see a receiver being brought down the way Ricky Prohl is here at the end of the play, there's always a possibility for a little tweak. Because you got the defender's body on top of your legs.
One timeout left for the Chicago Bears with 20 seconds left. Prohl has 4 catches today after he had 9 for 132 yards against Minnesota a week ago. 8th 100-yard receiving game of his career. There's the timeout situation. Kramer's pass on the sideline on the deflection, caught by Penn. Out of bounds, stopping the clock just short of the 15-yard line. Glenn deflected the ball right into the arms of Chris Penn.
Now here's a case of very good concentration by Chris Penn, because you're going to see the ball go right up in the air off of Glenn's hands as he dives to get in there. And to Penn's credit, he never takes the concentration in the eyes off of the football. Perfect look at it here as the ball goes into the air. Look at Penn's head. You could follow the eyes as that head turned the entire way.
Gain of 21 and a first down for the Bears at the 15-yard line. 14 seconds left. Kramer for the end zone. Through the hands of Chris Penn, defended by Otis Smith.
Is this a different number 45 Otis Smith than the Otis Smith we've seen in the past? Last few games, he might get caught for a hold or a jerk on the jersey or something. Good close coverage, and Penn just runs out of football field. The ball's thrown on the end line, but with that coverage, you just have no more football field to catch a ball in.
And the boos greet Jeff Jager, who comes out to attempt a field goal with 9 seconds left. 34-yard effort. He is perfect. In fact, has a string of 21 in a row, longest in the NFL. And that will break the string. Did I jinx it?
You had to do that to poor Jeff. We've proven he can't punt.
Sorry, Jeff. But why not? Everything else has gone wrong in Chicago today.
Sounds like a baseball coverage. This guy's hasn't given up a home run in over 400 innings.
Whack.
Just a pure yank. Remember, that predominant wind blows in the opposite direction, so the ball should be pushed by the wind to the other side. Just scoops it, gets a little divot on the ground that pulls the toe around, that causes the hook.
Sauerbrunn was holding. We were told that he might not return. He was on for the hold as the Jets kill the final 2 seconds and go to the locker room in front. A first half dominated by the New York defense. The Jets leading the Bears 23-0. Now to Greg Gumbel in New York.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
Talk about that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our studio in New York. Greg Gumbel along with Chris Collinsworth, who picked the New York Jets today, and Sam Weish. And our score at halftime is 23-0. The New York Jets are leading the Chicago Bears. What's going on in Chicago?
You know, I have a real problem with what's happening in Chicago, because here's a football team that was playing very well the last couple of weeks, and then going into this ball game, they say that Steve Stenstrom is going to replace Erik Kramer at some point in the second quarter. Well, as a player, you throw up your hands and you say, well, that's it. It's over. You know, the management now, or the coach, whoever made the decision, said, well, we're just going on about our business now. We're looking to next year. This is preseason. It's training camp. But that's not fair to anybody, the fans. It's not fair to the rest of the teams in the National Football League. I think this makes a real bad statement for the NFL.
The name of the game is still to win football games this time of the season, or make your best effort
trying. And here's a team that fought their tail off last week against Minnesota. They didn't deserve this.
All right, Chris. In Dallas, the 2 field goals by Richie Cunningham and a Dallas defense has the Redskins off the board. It is 6-0 at halftime, Sam.
Well, I don't know if this is really good defense or really bad offense, but 72 yards total offense for the Washington Redskins. Gus Frerotte is 4 for 12 for 22 yards. You know, that's not real good football this time of year.
All right.
Both of them chasing the New York Giants, who won earlier.
In San Francisco, a victory for the 49ers clinches for them the NFC West, and they're well on their way. They lead the Carolina Panthers today 24-6. Earlier today, great game in Kansas City, won by the Chiefs. They beat the Denver Broncos 24-22. Neil Smith spent 9 years as a Chief, makes his return to Arrowhead Stadium. 3-0 Denver first quarter. John Elway going deep to Rod Smith. Watch this catch. It'll be on every highlight reel tonight. Rod Smith, great catch, 43-yard gain. A roughing the passer penalty gives Denver a 1st and goal at the 9. 2 plays later, Elway to Shannon Sharp. Another terrific catch in the end zone. 5-yard touchdown. Broncos lead 10-0. Denver goes 98 yards in 7 plays. Second quarter, 13-7 Broncos. Rich Gannon, 5-yard touchdown pass to Danon Hughes. Gannon's first TD pass of the season. Chiefs led 14-13 at halftime. Questionable pass interference call led to Marcus Allen's 2nd touchdown of the game, a 1-yarder, the 119th rushing touchdown of his career, 21-13. John Elway sacked 6 times, 2 of those by Derek Thomas, becomes the 15th player in NFL history to record 100 in his career. 21-19, Kansas City in the 4th. Jason Elam, the 35-yarder with a minute left. The Broncos lead 22-21, but with 4 seconds left, Pete Stoyanovich attempts the 54-yard field goal. It is good. The Chiefs win it 24-22. Broncos fall for only the 2nd time this season, 24-22. Good football game.
Yeah, and I don't know that there's a team that has shown more heart this year than the Kansas City Chiefs. Totally remade that team. 12 new starters, both on the offensive and the defensive side. Marty Schottenheimer simply did not like his football team a year. This year they come back with the young guys. They're faster. Now you add Derek Thomas to that mix. It's a team you got to pay attention to now.
The Chiefs improved to 8-3. They're within 1 game of the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. In Tampa, good football game for the Bucs. They beat the New England Patriots today 27-7. That's a long, frustrating afternoon for that man. Pete Carroll, the head coach of the Patriots. 7-0 Bucs in the first. Patriots held to just 16 total yards and no first downs in the first half. Curtis Martin carried twice for -5. In the third, 10-0 Tampa. More of the same. Martin nailed for the loss. Trent Dilfer to tight end Dave Moore. 7-yard touchdown. The Bucs led 17-0. Bledsoe sacked 5 times, intercepted twice, this time by Donnie Abraham. He was lifted for Scott Zolak, whose touchdown pass in the final seconds averted a shutout. But this was a completely disastrous day for the New England Patriots and a great day for the Bucs, Sam.
Well, and for New England, it was a team that showed up that really had no toughness. They had no heart in this ball game right here. And I don't think anything, it had nothing to do with a Thursday night episode with a few of the players out late at night. Ball players go out during the course of the week. They've got lives, but they've got to come on Sunday and be ready to play. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on the other hand, are getting better and better and stronger. Defensively, Hardy Nickerson, I think, has pulled that team together, keeping them in everything. And Trent Dilfer coming on as well as he is. This team may not, I'm serious, may not lose another ball game this year.
And the Buccaneers are assured of their first non-losing season since 1982. A timeout here, and we'll have the rest of the scores and highlights, including a shocker for the Green Bay Packers, right after these words from your local station.
Get ready. NBC's doing the full Monday. 4 comedies, each with a musical extravaganza. First on Susan, Tony Bennett is...
Stepping out with my baby.
Then, Fired Up's hot musical number. And on Caroline, a song from the heart.
It had to be you.
And on The Naked Truth, don't even ask. 4 musical extravaganzas. It's the full Monday on NBC.
What a night!
My daughter Angela's put me in an uncomfortable position with my co-workers. Where she works at Ameritech, instead of mailing separate bills like other phone companies, they're letting customers put local and long distance all on one bill. Even Ameritech's cell phone and internet. Angela says people like having just one phone bill to pay. As a bill payer, I can see a point. But as a bill carrier, I say the more mail, the better. I guess Angela can forget about ever getting her face on a stamp.
They come from Los Angeles and London, San Francisco and Santiago, all on American Airlines to do business in Chicago. They arrive hundreds of times a day to build, create, invest. And every day, American is the international symbol for service in and out of Chicago. 95 key business destinations, the most nonstops to Europe. One airline that means business in Chicago, American Airlines.
You're watching the News Channel 5.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's, delivering 1 million smiles a day.
A couple of moments ago, we're telling you about the Tampa Bay Bucs victory, which moved them to 8-3. There is a logjam atop the NFC Central. The Packers go to Indianapolis and lose to the Colts, and the Packers fall to 8-3. Tough day for the Super Bowl champs. Defensive tackle Gilbert Brown sprained his ankle, did not return. 7-3 Green Bay in the first. Things actually looked easy early on. Dorsey Levens, 52 high-stepping yards for the touchdown, his second of the day. Green Bay, an early 14-3 lead. 14-9 now. Brett Favre is hit by defensive back Monty Montgomery, fumbles the ball. It's picked up by Al Pompano, and he takes it 33 yards for the score. The Colts take the lead at 17-14. Then some more Indy defense. Favre picked off by Robert Blackman here, who laterals to Jason Belzer. Oh, no, it's a touchdown, isn't it? Now Brett Favre throwing the touchdown pass to Antonio Freeman late in the fourth quarter. The Colts decide to sit on the ball and get Kerry Blanchard to kick the game-winning field goal. The Colts win their first in 11 starts this season. 41-38 is the score, and the Packers fall to 8-3 on the year. And Sam, this is a pretty good football game.
And any given day in this league, anybody can win. Green Bay may have been looking ahead. You know, they've been talking about they wanted to play Dallas at home. Well, they got them this year, and it's next week. Maybe they overlooked them, but don't take anything away from Indianapolis. They played beautifully. Lindy and Fonte deserves a pat on the back for having this team ready to go.
Paul Justin threw for 342 today. Brett Favre for 363. Justin and the Colts come up a winner. The other participant atop the NFC Central, the Minnesota Vikings. They fall today at Detroit, 38-15. Big win for the Lions, who are 5-6. The Vikings fall to 8-3. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Steelers over the Bengals today, 20-3. Steeler country was Snowy today. 6-0 Pittsburgh in the third. Cordell Stewart to Yancey Thigpen between two defenders. 20-yard touchdown. Steelers open it up at 13-0. It was 13-3 when Stewart connected again. This time Mark Bruner on the receiving end. The Steelers extend their lead to 20-3. That was the final score, and the Pittsburgh Steelers share the AFC Central lead with an 8-3 record and a pretty good performance again for Bill Cowher's crew.
Boy, I'm telling you, and the way this defense is playing right now, we all know about the running game, but right now the Steelers over the last 2.5 games have allowed just 3 points, which is amazing when you consider they almost had to reconstruct that defense at the beginning of this year.
Steelers at 8-3 atop the AFC Central, and so are the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars continue to roll today. They beat the Tennessee Oilers 17-9. That's 12 straight home wins for the Jaguars. At the Meadowlands, the Giants continue to roll 19-10 over the Arizona Cardinals. Jim Fossil's Giants opened a 10-0 lead. In the third quarter, the Cardinals began to play long ball. 3rd and 14, Jake Plummer on the move finds Frank Sanders wide open for a 70-yard touchdown, and the Giants lead is down to 3 at 10-7. It was tied at 10 in the fourth when Danny Cannell looked for his tight end Howard Cross and found him. 1-yard touchdown. Giants missed the extra point but added a field goal, and they go on to win it 19-10. After starting 1-3, the Giants have now won 6 of their last 7. In New Orleans, the Saints win their second in a row. In overtime, they beat the Seahawks 20-17. In overtime, the Ravens and the Eagles couldn't resolve a 10-10 tie, and in St. Louis, a couple of 2-8 teams did battle. The Falcons come out the winners 27-21. We'll send you back to chilly Chicago for the second half of the Jets and the Bears right after these messages from your local station.
The biggest Batman of them all is finally coming to your TV. Who is Batman? Val Kilmer.
You're trying to get under my cape, Doctor?
Nicole Kidman.
You are interesting.
Chris O'Donnell. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face.
Why can't you just die?
And Jim Carrey as
the Riddler.
The explosive network premiere. Batman Forever. Tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central on NBC.
Now that's impressive.
For its size, a Dodge Dakota can carry and tow remarkably heavy loads. It's probably because the price doesn't weigh it down. Here's a big surprise from the truck that's full of surprises. Buy a Dodge Dakota and get a Magnum V6 at no extra charge. So to satisfy your lust for more power, see the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
You're watching the News Channel, where you'll find News Channel 5 at 5.
That's me, number 29, Aiden Morrell for the New York Jets. And these are two very special fans, my wife Tanya and our son Tyler. To look at them, you would think they're healthy, beautiful people, and they are, except for one deadly reality. Both of them have tested positive for sickle cell anemia trait. Their diagnosis doesn't mean that they have the sickle cell gene. But if two traits come together, that could be deadly. As an NFL player, I can assure you that they will have the best care and protection. We realize that there are families who face the ravages of diseases like cancer, diabetes, and so many others. Each year, your United Way dollars are used to help fight such diseases and save lives. That's where you and I and the NFL United Way team is making a difference. We are building better communities through teamwork. The NFL, the United Way, and you, the power of teamwork.
Next Saturday, Autry Denson leads the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in their final home appearance of the year as they host the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Then, the world's best 3-on-3 players strut their stuff against NBA legends of yesterday and WNBA stars of today in Hoop It Up's Court of Dreams. All next Saturday on NBC.
Getting ready for the second half in Chicago with the Jets leading the Bears 23-0. Chicago hasn't been shut out since 1989, but thanks to some good Jets defense and some inept Chicago offense, that record might be threatened today.
Well, absolutely, Tommy. And the big difference here has been you've had a Jets defense come onto the field here today just ready to play like a team that wants to win a division. And a Bears offense that's really come out, turned the ball over 5 times, you could see. I mean, that is just something that boggles my mind, is some of the interceptions and the opportunities that this Jets defense has come up with.
As you can see on our Coors Light halftime stats, those 5 turnovers loom large on the Bears side of the ledger. Only 12 rushing yards, 61 passing yards in that first half in 13 minutes of possession. Here's the second half kickoff as Hall boots it on its way. Taken by one of the F men. Ryan Whitnight. Maybe the biggest story if you're a Jets fan so far, though, has been the injury to Glenn Foley. And for an update, let's go to Lynn Berman.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tom. I talked to both coaches at halftime. Bill Parcells, in typical fashion, said it's not over yet. I asked him specifically about Glenn Foley. I said, how's he doing? And he said, not good, but he wouldn't give us the details until after the game. Dave Wannstedt told me, thank goodness his team came to play some defense, or else they'd be trailing 45-0. Guys?
All right, Lynn. On occasion, that Bears defense has made New York settle for a field goal when they had great field position after a turnover.
And the key really is the field position. The Jets offense has had wonderful field position this entire game and really not done very much with it.
Darnell Autry gets a couple of yards on first down. Autry getting the start today, but as you can see, it's been a rough afternoon, averaging less than 2 yards a carry, and really has not had much of an opportunity.
Not really, and a lot of that credit goes to the linebacking crew, especially Marvin Jones inside, a guy the last month or so has just lit it up.
Erik Kramer's pass deflected at the line of scrimmage and incomplete.
For any time you're playing this style of defense that the Jets do with a three-man defensive line, the big guy's job is to slap people around, and the linebacker's job is to make tackles. And part of the big guy's jobs inside is you get up, you get in the air, and you get your hands up. That's just good execution by a defense that's been coached very thoroughly.
3rd and 6 for Kramer. And the pass on target, first down, caught by Bones. So Fabian makes the grab in front of Aaron Glenn.
Fabian Bones up at the top of the screen. An experienced receiver, was a sprinter at Western Illinois. Just started getting his football legs underneath him, working against an Aaron Glenn. Some good execution there, and Glenn's got to be a little shocked with the job that Otis Smith is doing on the other side. For a change, he's got an offense going after him.
Bears first down just across their own 40-yard line. Darnell Autry looks for a block. Nothing there, so he takes it anyway. 3 tough yards. Victor Green strung it out and didn't allow Autry to turn the corner.
Well, it's not a bad job by Todd Perry, the pulling guard, working out in front of Autry, but you hit a guy like that right in the middle like Todd Perry did, it's up to the back to make the decision. And the last thing you want to do as a back is run up onto the back of an offensive lineman. That gives you absolutely nowhere to go but into his jersey. But look at the pursuit. You see those white jerseys? Everybody's got their gap. Everybody's got their responsibility.
Play action fake. Kramer's pass wide open. Caught by Jennings.
Kramer's pass.
And Keith Jennings will be just short of a first down. Tackled by Jones.
Well, I don't know if Dave Wannstedt either really had a talking with this offense at the half, or maybe forced them all to watch a tape of their performance in the first half on a monitor in the locker room, because this is a totally different offense coming out and executing very crisply compared to what they put on the field for Dave Wannstedt in the first half.
That'd have been cruel and unusual punishment, I think, wouldn't it, to have to watch it?
They deserved it.
Short drop, Kramer's pass, no good. Hand stopped as the ball went sailing over his head, and guess who had tight coverage once again? Otis Smith.
See, Otis Smith is playing Chris Penn. Watch the defensive back play the receiver. If he's playing the football, he might have one going back the other way, but his responsibility is to play the receiver. There was no ad-libbing there.
And on 4th and 1, why not? The Bears are going to go for it at midfield. 6 of 15 this season. Kramer will throw for it. Got it away, and it's caught with a flag down. Ryan Whitnight made the reception. Covered by the linebacker inferior, and it will be against the Bears.
A holding penalty against Chicago.
What else can go wrong?
Don't say that. You might see it.
Holding, number 79, offense. 71. 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. 4th down.
James Big Cat Williams says he initially said 79. You heard him say, we don't even have a 79. How can you call it?
Well, his defense right here, he was telling Bob McElwee, our referee, hey, look, all I did was push him on the ground and lay on him. That's not holding. And you know what? All he did was push him on the ground and lay on him. He might have smushed him, but he didn't hold him.
And when the Big Cat lays on you, you have been laying on. Todd Sauerbrunn is back in the game and boots it away. Fair catch called for at the 21-yard line. That was a 39-yard punt. Bears give it up on their first possession, second half.
Dr. Pepper. The taste you've been looking for.
They give us heroes. They give us hope. They let us laugh and cry and fall in love. Movies touch us as few things can. Any technology that heightens the experience of watching movies at home makes life even more enjoyable.
DVD video from Philips Magnavox. Technology for the heart, the spirit, and the imagination.
Somewhere, some poor slob's punching a time clock. He don't know what he's missing.
Wake up, come on, get up, son. We gotta go.
Meet Dan Wolf, champion bull rider. This is what he does. This is what he drives. Pretty nice life. Chevy S10, like a rock.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Fidelity Investments, where 12 million investors put their trust. And by Castrol Syntec, the full synthetic motor oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Darkness has fallen at venerable Soldiers Field in Chicago. Tom Hammond, Randy Cross, Len Berman, where the Jets, with their first possession of the second half, have a 23-0 lead. Adrian Morrell can't quite turn the corner, got 3 or 4 yards. Another injury of note for the Jets. For more on that, let's go to Len Berman.
Hey, thank you, Tom. And now Leon Johnson, the punt returner, sometime running back. He has a sprained knee. His return is questionable. That's why you saw Dietrich Ward take that last punt from the Bears. Tom.
All right, Len. Bill Parcells' injuries mounting up. They play the tough Vikings next week. Minnesota coming off a loss today, and then the Jets must travel to Buffalo. Flag down as Adrian Morrell makes a shifty run and works his way for a first down if it stands, but it won't. Called back by a holding penalty.
It's a hold on Big Dave Williams. He pulled out that tackle.
Number 73, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
You heard one of the defenders for Chicago ask what number. Now, why would a defensive back need to know which offensive line's holding?
That was Marty Carter.
There's Dave Williams blocking on Ron Cox and wrapping his arm around the upper torso as he goes to the ground. That's also known as holding.
Does this game have the potential to get a little sloppy now with a big lead?
You know, I think if you're a Jets offense, you don't want to get it sloppy right now. You want to get real aggressive.
Incomplete, and probably just as well as O'Donnell was running for his life, trying to set up a screen to Adrian Morrell.
And when I say that about the Jets offense, you want to execute. You haven't executed so far today. And take a look at full speed with Brian Cox and this defense coming after you.
Flanagan takes O'Donnell down. Flanagan's had a pretty good game for the Bears defense today.
Well, I tell you, a lot of those pass rushers for the Bears have been all over the Jets quarterbacks on the screens. You got to slow the guys down on the screen. It is not an opportunity to make a block and let your guy get a free shot on your quarterback.
3rd and 17 from the 15-yard line. O'Donnell's pass incomplete as Keyshawn Johnson was coming across the middle. Mangum shaken up. One of the graybeards on this defense, this whole team for the Bears. He's in his 8th season from Alabama. He ran into his own player.
And that's right in that category where you're playing a cover 2 type defense. Corner's looking for inside help from the safety. Magnum's the safety to give that inside help. You got a lot more of his guy than you got of the Jets receiver, Keyshawn Johnson.
Walt Harris was the man that was coming across. Brian Hansen in punt formation for the 3rd time today.
You ready?
We're ready. Let it go. Hughes picks it up on the bounce. Can't get anywhere. Tackled at about the 48-yard line. Just a 3-yard return of a 35-yard punt.
Thanks for the truck, Dad.
What'd you do?
Not much.
Where'd you go?
Kurtz?
You still talking about moving that old barn?
No.
The best long-term quality of any full-size pickup belongs to Chevy.
Is that a scratch?
No.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
You stink! Get off the stage! Your mother's an iguana.
Hey, my mother's half iguana.
I'm sorry. I meant no disrespect.
If it were a guy's world, this would be your 9 to 5. Having kids wouldn't slow you down a bit. And you'd be so cool, you'd never sweat. But in the real world, guys sweat 40% more than women. Guys need the protection of Speed Stick antiperspirant. Protection from sweat and odor that never quits. In this world, or the world where every day is Saturday, Speed Stick protection just for the guys.
Frankie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah?
These frogs, do they really taste like chicken?
I'm not answering that.
I'm just curious.
Stop it.
Come on, it's barbecue season. Would you marinate them? Would you slow cook them? We could toss them over a salad.
Tuesday, an all-new Frasier on a wild cruise. Niles dallies in the galley and gets caught.
Maris. She did ask me to give you a message.
Yes.
When you're dealing with Maris, you just never know.
Oh, wait. I see her coat on the hat rack.
Is the hat rack moving?
Oh, my God!
Frasier, NBC Tuesday.
The nighttime skyline of the windy city of Chicago is seen from Soldier Field. And for a change, the Bears take a page from the Jets book. A good field position to start a drive. Kramer sort of short-armed it, got it complete to Carter. Tony Carter ditched one tackler and pounds his way for a first down. Jerome Henderson finally got him out of bounds.
Well, nothing new for a quarterback in this football game. Getting all kinds of pressure from the outside with a blitz. Watch the way Kramer releases this ball as Mo Lewis comes in on him. Just sort of short arm flicks it because that's all he can do with Mo Lewis all over him. And Tony Carter, that's not a run of a 1-9 team's fullback. That's a guy that wants to make a point to a coaching staff.
Carter's fourth catch. It went for 15 yards. Fake to Autry. Kramer looks deep. Sends it to the end zone for Penn, and it's almost intercepted. Otis Smith almost had number 3. In fact, should have had number 3.
We saw earlier that they were actually going over on Aaron Glenn's side of the football and going after him. Look at Otis Smith staying with Chris Penn, not buying that little semi-stop-and-go ploy. Trying to make that over-the-shoulder, over-the-head catch that only receivers make.
2 interceptions for Victor Green, 2 for Otis Smith. 20 points of the 23 total for the Jets off Bear miscues today. And the play clock has expired.
5 yards, second down.
There's one thing we haven't seen yet. John Mangum, you'll remember, colliding with Walt Harris and Keyshawn Johnson, a little gimpy as he left the field, but we're told he's okay. No injury to report.
Gimpy is kind of like getting smushed, huh?
Yeah, well,
those unofficial terms.
The whole Bears team has been a bit smushed and gimpy today. Wet night, can't hold on to that one. It was Penn, excuse me. So a third down coming up.
We saw Erik Kramer has been throwing the short patterns, got the one long one off, but he's been getting, you know, fairly decent pass protection from his offensive line up front with the defensive linemen. It's been the safeties, the corners, and the linebackers that have been getting all over him so far.
Pass complete. Well short of what they needed for the first down. He got maybe 6 yards to Wet Knight, who was wrapped up by Jerome Henderson, and the Bears now face a 4th down.
Well, I just got done saying safeties, corners, linebackers. On that last play, that was all of the above was brought.
And on 4th and about 10, maybe 11, the Bears will go for it. Steps up, drills it complete. Nice play, first down. Ricky Prohl caught it. Covered by Mickens, 5th catch of the day for Prohl.
And Ricky Prohl has been the only receiver in this Bears offense that has been down the field far enough to get a first down on a play like this. But watch the body position of Prohl. He plays the defender as much as he plays the ball coming to him. He puts his body between the ball and the defender, and there's nothing that Mickens can do behind him except interfere.
5 catches, 55 yards for Prohl. First down, Chicago. 18-yard line of New York. Kramer scrambles free. He's got a lot of room. There's a flag down as he makes it to the 8-yard line.
Flags flying, there was stuff flying off of Kramer. Looked like there were wristbands and rags around his waist going all over the place.
Holding number 45 defense at maybe half the distance to the goal line and forcing the end of the play. First down.
Otis working against Penn again. Well, that would be a little bit of a bear hug, not so much a you know, that's
a jet hug.
It's marginal. It's marginal, but when you should have 3 interceptions, you've got 2, 1 for a touchdown. You got to be thinking, well, I'll give you that one.
Jet hug of a Bear. From the 4-yard line, 1st and goal, Chicago. For the end zone, Kramer's pass caught for the touchdown. Chris Penn. And that time, Otis was toasted for his 7th touchdown he's given up this season.
Well, do you remember the play where Erik Kramer threw it behind Otis Smith and Penn? And Smith played the receiver the entire way and never looked at the ball. He would need eyeballs over the 4 and the 5 in the back of his helmet to see this pass, because he never, until the ball is there, has any clue that there's a football coming.
He may not have seen it yet. Extra point is good, and the Bears are on the board.
I understand you got a bug problem.
Daddy! I want you to meet my friends.
Dad, phone call. Who's the IRS?
Sir, is this your son?
Hey, is this your dog?
Your life is full of worries. Your car shouldn't be. Get a Chevy Lumina. It's reliable, comfortable, and it's one less thing to worry about.
Sir, is this your house?
Heck, Lumina can even save you $1,000.
Sir?
So where is she?
Meeting with someone about her finances.
The chief financial officer needs financial help. From whom?
I think it's her life insurance agent.
Northwestern Mutual Life.
Can you send that? Okay. Bye. Okay, last time. You have your documents, passports, visas.
With the Creativity Imaging Center that can capture and send images.
Scared? This should help.
The new compact Presario 4800 series with Intel Pentium 2 processor can change the way you look at life.
Say hello to your new daughter.
The Presario 4800 series from Compaq.
Next Sunday on the NFL on NBC, a big doubleheader. The Dolphins, the Patriots, a showdown atop the AFC East. Marino and Miami face Bledsoe in New England. Then the Chargers, the 49ers. Young and the NFC West leaders host Seattle and San Diego. Or regional action, the NFL on NBC next Sunday.
While we were away, Otis Smith expressing his frustration, giving up the touchdown pass. After scoring a touchdown earlier, one of his 2 interceptions. Here's the kick, taken by Aaron Glenn. To the 25-yard line.
Well, on that last touchdown pass, Tommy made a great note about it. He might not still see where the ball is. Just remember one thing at the end of this play. Where'd you get that?
And now 23-7. Smith continues to feel the pain on the sideline. O'Donnell behind his intended receiver. A wide open Kyle Brady. And as you look at some other scores of late games, we will note that the Jets have sputtered since that big first quarter. Only 19 total yards in 1.5 quarters.
And it's clearly just been a case of an occasional run that looks decent, but the passing game is not there. The crispness, the efficiency that's necessary in this passing game is not there. And a lot of that is because the offense has no rhythm because it has no running game.
Here's a run by Morrell, hit hard at the 25-yard line, no gain. Marty Carter. How much of the ineffective Jet offense is due to the absence of Glenn Foley?
I don't know if it's a huge amount, to be honest with you. I mean, they are facing a defense that's giving up the second most points in the league as Adrian Morrell leaves the field. And obviously some discomfort. But, you know, Tom, this is a team that's 1-9, and this is a team that's given up more points than any other team in the league except for the Atlanta Falcons. You've got to score big points, touchdowns on a defense like this.
6 defensive backs on 3rd and long. O'Donnell's pass caught for the first down by Graham, the former Chicago Bear. Jeff Graham, who has his mom, his brother, totaling 18 friends and relatives on hand today from Dayton, Ohio, makes the big catch against his former team.
Yeah, I bet he was feeling right now this ball's never going to get there. The ball's in the air at the break, but it's not coming, and Walt Harris almost gets there in time. But O'Donnell put that right where it needed to be for a wide receiver, Jeff Graham, that had a lot of success as a Bear here for 2 years.
And his best season in '95 as a Bear when he caught 82 passes. Lorenzo Neal lugs it 5 yards to the 40.
There's something you don't see too often out of this offense. Just giving it to that first back through. Giving it to Lorenzo Neal. He's kind of a hammer guy behind that offensive line. Don't wait for the hole in the cutback. Give it to the big guy. Not that big guy.
7 minutes left, third quarter. Again, it's the first guy through. And again, it's Lorenzo Neal. This time, not quite as much success. He got 3 yards.
Oh, it's almost like Bill Parcells and Charlie Weiss, his offensive coordinator, decided, hey, the heck with this cute running. You know, well, let's not give him the rope-a-dope. Let's give him the straight jab right in the face and see how they handle these straight runs.
And they have a 3rd and 2 facing them as we come past the 6.5-minute mark in a 23-7 Jets game. On the sweep, first down picked up just short of midfield. Richie Anderson replacing Morrell, who was a bit shaken up, takes it for the first down.
And we've seen this play several times out of the Jets offense with that quick pull around by Dave Williams, the right guard, right tackle blocking on Ron Cox. Good patience by Anderson as that hole. You saw that thing look like there was nothing there, and suddenly the defense opened up just before Anderson made that cut.
Anderson in at the tailback spot. The Jets running a little short of running backs with Morrell and Johnson both injured during the game. Lorenzo Neal crosses into Bear territory on a first down run. The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com for all the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores and action, plus chat live with some of the NFL's biggest stars, all at NFL.com.
I tell you, after a few dubious-looking passes and plays earlier in this drive, this is smash-mouth football for the Jets on this drive.
Play action fake. Neil O'Donnell's pass. Broken up. That one kind of hung up there, too, intended for Corbett, allowing the defense to run under it. And Terry Cousin, the rookie just activated today from the practice squad, was able to knock it away.
Well, the defenders are there. Neil O'Donnell gets good protection for a while. You see Ron Cox blitzing from the near side. Getting late pressure by Simpson. Corbett in the slot, going out. The only advantage Wayne could have here is if he could fair catch it. Otherwise, he's got no shot.
They don't allow that on pass, do they?
That's some serious hang time, and hang time is not good if you're not a punter.
From the gun, 3rd and 7. O'Donnell, flag down, intended for Keyshawn Johnson, incomplete.
That'll be holding against the Jets.
Matt O'Dwyer called for the hold.
They saw him battling earlier with Flanagan, the defensive tackle for the Bears, and that's exactly who was called for holding on that play.
That's a battle that unfolded earlier in South Bend during their college days when O'Dwyer played for Northwestern and Flanagan played for Notre Dame. And Northwestern had that big season-opening upset of the Irish that signaled their return to big-time football. Hansen to punt. Tyrone Hughes draws a bead on it and takes it at the 11. And twisted down immediately. Good coverage for the Jets special teams. 40-yard punt with no return, but the Bears will have the ball.
You've got this huge customer. They're so huge, sometimes they don't even know when they've received a shipment. Whose problem is this? Yours. That's why you ship UPS, because only UPS captures signatures electronically. Then you can use UPS online tracking software to see your customer's actual signature. So when they say, "We never got it," you can say not only did you get it, but you don't dot your I's. UPS Online. Are you connected yet?
Caitlin Keats, nature lover. She also loves the new interior of the Chevy S10. There's a lot to be said for the great indoors. Chevy S10, like a rock.
I heard my door close and I ran out to the truck, and this guy was standing there with a case of beer in his hand, and he tells me, he goes, "Oh, I was putting it back." My days are usually 10 to 12 hours a day. Come in here, get my invoices. From there, I get out on the road, start delivering. You see people, you go into the bars and you see people drinking, and you think, that looks good. I wish I could have one right now, especially on a hot day like today. It's a tough job, but I love it.
Today on the NFL on NBC, Denver's offense is on the run, but their go-to guy remains sharp.
I don't care if they got Deion Sanders on me. If I got one-on-one, and it's a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 or 3rd and whatever, I know John Elway's going to throw me the football. I told John last week, I said, I might not be your number 1 receiver anymore, but I'm still your favorite.
Catch the NFL on NBC next Sunday.
Back in Chicago, this is Len Berman. The word on Adrian Morrell, the Jets running back, a burner in his left shoulder, a bit of a pinched nerve. He should be able to return to action.
All right, Len, and the Jets hope so. As we said, running a little short of running back since Leon Johnson has also been injured during the game. Darnell Autry pounding ahead 3 or 4 yards. Rick Lyle and Marvin Jones on the tackle.
Well, that really tells a lot of what's gone on field position-wise in Chicago. Bad field position, facing a defense that's really come to play football. From the Jets standpoint, great field position and very below subpar crummy for the offense, taking advantage of it.
Got any more you want to throw there? Autry again, nice run, squirting free, holds the football, but covered by the Bears. Tony Carter pounced on it. Carter saved the day for Chicago. They would have had their 6th turnover.
He's waving himself out of the game. He wants to get that divot off his head there. Sit on that helmet.
Take some special equipment to remove those, I think.
Yeah, you need a screwdriver and a head scraper. Get some good blocking from Valerio, the center up front. Just a good takedown by Valerio. Maybe a little bit of a hole, but it wasn't caught. The fumble squirts out, and luckily for the Bears, they've got a guy there.
From the 25-yard line, 1st down, Chicago. Kramer, short drop. Eludes the pressure and finds Ricky Prohl. And Prohl out of bounds with another Chicago 1st down. 41-yard line. This time they beat Aaron Glenn. 16 yards.
I'll tell you, it's very impressive, too. Erik Kramer throws this ball through a forest of arms. He's got linebackers jumping up in his face. Watch what he had to throw through. He's got those arms. He's got Prohl. This offense hasn't had a lot of things, folks, but one thing they've got is a tough, efficient wide receiver in Ricky Prohl.
And Kramer did a good job, too, as you pointed out, getting that ball to Ricky Prohl.
It's kind of a faith throw. You got to know and feel you can get it through those arms.
Kramer has time, swings it complete to Autry. Darnell Autry racing for the 1st down marker. Comes up about a yard short in midfield. Pushed out by Victor Green. Well, tonight starts with an all-new Dateline, followed by Jenny at a special early time. Then at 8:30, 7:30 Central, the network television premiere of the biggest Batman of them all. Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman star Batman Forever, NBC tonight.
I've seen Jenny look better.
Need to adjust your glasses. Darnell Autry stopped at the line of scrimmage. Only needed a yard for the 1st down. Couldn't get it. James Ferrier stopped him. He's the rookie from Virginia. His mom nicknamed him Potsy. He's had to live with that his whole life.
Well, you know, if that's his nickname, he's got to live with that. He'll definitely love to live with plays like that out of a rookie linebacker. Potsy did exactly what he should have. See what he's been doing over the last couple games. He's really starting to settle into a comfort zone at linebacker.
3rd and a yard. Kramer changing the play. It's a pass, and it's complete to Penn. 1st down as he's pushed out of bounds by Otis Smith at the 45-yard line.
Well, one thing that's really good to see right here is that the little bounce in the step that this offense is starting to get on this drive. On that last play, 3rd and 1, Kramer's yelling an audible. Look at Penn stretching and straining to hear it.
Good call by Kramer. Good execution. First down, Chicago. 7th play of the drive. Wide open, caught by Penn again. No, excuse me, it's Jennings. Keith Jennings, the tight end. That's a gain of 23 yards.
And what a great job by Erik Kramer. I told you about the bounce in their step. They're starting to get some confidence and swagger, because watch Marvin Jones, 55, inside linebacker, just right into the stomach area. Kramer stands in there, takes the shot, and gets the ball to Jennings. That is nice, because look what he's stepping into. I mean, that's not easy to hold your concentration long enough to not throw that one off.
Darnell Autry hits the hole. As we come down to the final seconds of the 3rd quarter, a 3rd quarter dominated by Chicago. It's been a tale of 2 halves. All Jets in the first half. So far, the second half has belonged to the Bears, though they still trail big, 23-7.
This offense, this change of quarters couldn't come at a worse time for this offense, because they've got this rhythm going. They've got the whole thing going on. They'd like another extra 2 minutes in this quarter.
Just got it off before the quarter ended. It's Darnell Autry on the sweep. Waiting for a block. Never got it. That will bring the 3rd quarter to a close. 3rd down coming up when we return. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Tonight, Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman, Tommy Lee Jones, and Jim Carrey. Batman Forever, tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central on NBC.
And don't come back until you get that phone.
Oh, Primeco, huh? They say that phone is very clear. Oh, it is, absolutely. And it has free voicemail, caller ID, and I've got this huge calling area where every call is a local call.
Mom, I really need your phone.
This is not a toy.
But it's an emergency.
I said no.
She's not going for it.
Primeco.
Someday, everything will work this well.
All right, come on. What job did you get?
Administrative assistant.
You're a secretary.
No. Assistant executive vice president.
Right. You're his secretary.
No.
So, what do you do all day?
Type file, type calls.
Calls? Secretary stuff.
I am not a secretary.
Grab me a beer.
Get us yourself.
Bob, as your financial advisor, I recommend you work just a few more years before retirement. That way you'll be sure to have enough.
Bob should have made his own decisions with E-Trade, invested online, with free research in stocks, options, even mutual funds.
Did you ever try telemarketing?
Hey, it's your future. E-Trade. Someday we'll all invest this way.
Jetcopter 1, Jetcopter 2, only on News Channel 5.
This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Thanks to a robust 3rd quarter, the Bears have now exceeded the Jets in total yardage. And Chicago on the 10th play of their current drive, facing a 3rd and 5 as the 4th quarter opens.
Well, Dave Wannstedt told Len Berman at the half, thank goodness for my defense, otherwise we'd be down 45-0. Thank goodness for the Jets defense from their standpoint, but the offense of Chicago's got it going right now.
Autry fighting his way inside the 15-yard line, short of the first down. Hugh Douglas made sure that Autry didn't get it. Todd Berger had pulled in front of him, got sort of a half block, and Autry was able to get only a few yards.
Now, this is just good defense. From Corwin Brown to Mo Lewis to Aaron Glenn cutting off the corner, knowing he's got the help behind him. Chicago going for it here, Tom. Remember that hold by Sauerbrunn last time.
33-yard Jaeger field goal attempt is up, and it is through. No, excuse me. No good. It just sailed by that upright. Just when things were going well.
AT&T, it's all within your reach, presents A Lineman's Dreams.
Football, the perfect game. But if I could change just one thing, I'd get to carry the ball. I've got moves. I could find the hole, follow my blockers. I can dance and strut and spike. Plus, who's gonna want to tackle me? Yeah, one day right before game time, they're gonna give me number 44, and I'm gonna run like the wind.
The AT&T One Rate plan has made long-distance prices simple. Whoa. Calls from home, a one low rate to anybody in America anytime.
What about those 10-3-2-1 ads that say I could save big over AT&T?
Most calls would cost less with AT&T One Rate.
Cost less?
Right.
Deal so huge.
Hey, don't beat yourself up.
What about the big savings with 10-3-2-1?
Forget it if your calls aren't over 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
He's taking it really bad.
No restrictions, no games. The AT&T One Rate plan.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do you do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
In yet another torture test, we drained the oil from this car and added just this much Castrol Syntec. We then ran it over 100 miles per hour and waited and waited. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. And if a little Syntec can protect under these conditions, imagine what a full oil change can do. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. And now, try Castrol Syntec Power System, a new kind of fuel system treatment.
You notice that funny kind of herky-jerky motion right there by Jaeger. It just didn't quite work. Trying to circle, it won't quite circle, but watch his ankle. A little high-speed wobble. Watch this.
And then the ball hooked severely. I thought it had just been able to sneak past the upright, but it did not. It went sailing past as it was on its hook, and no good. So that drive for naught, the long one, comes up with no points as Morrell returns to the fray, and the flag goes down. Offside, Chicago.
Number 96 defense was lined up in the neutral zone. Offside defense, 5 yards. First down.
Tyrone Williams.
You remember the high-speed wobble we just showed you with Jeff Jaeger's kick. That was the cause or the effect, and here's what goes. Just turns into another dead yank. That's 2 so far for Jaeger.
So thanks to the penalty, it's now 1st and 5. And as we noted earlier, Morrell has indeed come back. And gets the call again. Might have lost a yard. Good play by Mark Thomas and Brian Cox.
You made an observation that last drive by Chicago's offense was all for naught. That's about what we've seen out of the Jets' offense this half, is about naught. Dave Wannstedt's defense has shut this offense down, but I mentioned earlier, this is a defense that struggled all year long, giving up points, giving up yards. Hasn't been a problem against this Jets offense today.
Lorenzo Neal, the up back. And the Bears were ready for that. No gain. Walt Harris, the corner. And our Miller Time game summary will show that the mistakes of the Bears, 5 turnovers, have given the Jets 20 points. And the Bears only 42 yards rushing. The unexpected, not a touchback for John Hall on the kickoffs today. And he was only 2 shy of tying the NFL record. Credit the wind on that, do we?
Absolutely, these conditions.
O'Donnell. Good defense. Walt Harris arriving at the precise time to knock the ball away from Richie Anderson.
Well, he might arrive there at the precise time, but from my angle over here, it looked like his arms got there a little early.
Oh, no, Randy.
No, absolutely. Richie Anderson going up for the ball. And you know what, Tom? You're right. Precisely at the same time the ball did.
Brian Hansen. Tyrone Hughes backpedaling. Takes it at the 26. Pretty nice return. Tyrone advances to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Lewis after a 16-yard return of a 46-yard boot. We'll be back.
It is 180 degrees from expected. It is a leather-trimmed interior, available heated front seats, and an Infinity 10-speaker audio system. The new Chrysler Town & Country LXI, built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. And now it's available with $1,000 cash back or a very special low lease rate. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
In a perfect world, your cooking would taste more like your mom's.
Woohoo!
In the real world, Diet Dr. Pepper does taste more like regular Dr. Pepper. It's the taste you've been looking for.
Canon's Multipath C3000. It faxes, copies, scans, and prints color images so realistic you can taste it. Well, practically.
If you're an office manager, you have one thing on your mind.
Morning, Linda.
The price of supplies.
Hey, Linda, do you like this picture of me and my boyfriend?
Oh, this is all wrong. Come on, relax. You know you're saving money shopping at Staples. Focus on other things. Linda. Save money at Staples on 7,000 office supplies at guaranteed low prices. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. By Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. And by Texaco, a world of energy.
Tom Hammond, Randy Cross, Len Berman, we think, at Soldier Field in Chicago. Has Len sought warmer quarters down there on the sideline or not? Total yards, 176 since the first quarter for Chicago, far eclipsing the Jet output. And Kramer wants more, and he has them. Chris Penn with a diving catch. Once again, victimizing Otis Smith.
Well, Chris Penn just makes a wonderful play on this pass by Erik Kramer. See Otis Smith mashed up on the outside. Does a nice job in the zone of adjusting. But that ball is thrown out there. It's kind of a go-get-it kind of toss. And Penn lays out on this what has to be now a pretty frozen football field here at Soldier Field and gets that one.
21-yard gain. Darnell Autry got 2 yards. James Ferrier made the tackle, and we do have confirmation now that Len Berman, after picking up a hot chocolate, has returned to the frosty sideline. And just to prove it, let's go right down to Len Berman.
All right, thanks, Tom. What's interesting is the wind is coming directly off Lake Michigan now, and I have to tell you, it is frozen here on the sideline, but it certainly doesn't seem to be affecting the Bears' offense right now.
You know, this isn't really cold for Soldier Field, though, Len. I played in a championship game here about 9-10 years ago. It was about 20 below. That starts getting cold.
Ryan Wetnight banged out of bounds at the 30 by Jerome Henderson. And there, how could this be cold? Ryan Wetnight doesn't even have sleeves. No problem.
You know, sometimes football players, testosterone can overcome common sense. You're going to be macho, dang it. I don't care if it's frostbite. I'm going to be macho.
Don't go there, Andy.
I never wore, long underwear when I played in this kind of weather. Just let it be cold.
That third down play is blown dead, which usually indicates some sort of false start.
False start prior to the snap. Number 87, offense. 5 yards, third down.
Ricky Prohl. And be sure to join us next week. Another NBC doubleheader starting at 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Game 1, most of you see the Dolphins take on the Patriots. Others see the Steelers against the Eagles, or regional action. Game 2, most of you see the Chargers and the 49ers. Others see the Chiefs take on the Seahawks or the Jaguars battle the Bengals. Check your local listings for the games in your area starting at 12 noon Eastern next week on NBC. Jets show blitz. Bears pick it up. And Kramer's pass sailing downfield as his receiver fell down, or if you're a Bear fan, was knocked down. Chris Penn.
Well, the whole key to this play is he got such good pass protection on the blitz pickup, he can afford to double clutch it. And the double clutch part gets Chris Penn. That's not pass interference on Otis Smith. I mean, Otis Smith has every bit of right to stand in that part of the football field as Chris Penn does. And he initiated the contact, not Otis Smith.
So on 4th and 10, the Bears will go for it. 1 of 2 on their 4th down conversions today. Kramer has a man open, and he spots him and hits him for the first down. First catch today by Bowens, and it's good for the first down against Corwin Brown.
Fabian Bones working here against Otis Smith. Another good toss, good catch situation. You look at the area, you've got to drop that in between Otis Smith and Corwin Brown coming over from the safety position so Bones can get that thing.
21-yard gain. Kramer for the end zone, too tall, and again the receiver falls down. That was Ricky Prohl.
Earlier in the game, we saw some slipping going on because the field in spots, because it was covered and heated, was a little soft. Well, the flip side of that coin when a field is covered and heated is it's going to be soft at first, but then in these sub-30, we may say wind chill, they announced around 10 above 0 wind chill. This field hardens up, and then the footing becomes a problem because cleats start slipping out from underneath you. And that's what looked like that happened to Prohl.
Kramer looking, has his first and second options, and then just throws it out of the end zone. Marvin Jones took Kramer down, and Eric there did what Parcells wanted O'Donnell to do in a similar situation in the first half.
Well, exactly, and his 4th option was the one he threw it to, and there's a cameraman in dark clothing in the far end zone kneeling down. That was his 4th option, and he put it within 2 feet of his 4th option, which gives you the next down.
Kramer is 22 of 37 on the day, 246 yards, a touchdown, but 3 interceptions. And you see that 6 times he's had to hurry and 3 times on knockdowns. And up against the play clock, Kramer calls a timeout. 3rd down coming up from the Bears when we return to Chicago.
We meet at Aunt Rachel's on Saturdays and eat Domino's Pizza. She orders at least 3. Our favorite is the large deep dish with everything. Extra cheese and toppings. My cousin and I always grab a slice of Domino's on our way to play, unless there's more.
Order a medium ultimate deep dish pizza with up to 3 toppings for $8.99 and get a second pizza of equal or lesser value for $4.99.
Domino's, delivering a million smiles a day.
Some decisions are harder than others. The Chrysler Sebring LXI Coupe or the Sebring Limited Convertible. For the passionate side, fully independent suspension, speed-sensitive steering, multi-valve V6, and a luxurious leather-trimmed interior. The practical side, lease the convertible from just $2.99 a month. And on the coupe, get $1,000 cash back and luxurious leather at no charge. Some decisions are easier than others. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
There's no question that computers open up entirely new worlds. But what about children who live in a world that can't afford personal computers? Fortunately, as of today, we'll never have to ask that question again. Network computers allow everyone to join the information age. And we'd like to say, welcome, Oracle, enabling the information age.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza, delivering a million smiles a day. Call for pizza now and share a smile during the game.
The distinctive facade of Soldier Field, Chicago, hard by the shores of Lake Michigan, with the wind pouring in off the lake now and the temperature well below freezing. 8th play of the Bears drive coming up. It's a 3rd and 10 situation.
You got to think he's going to be looking for Ricky Prohl. He has all night long.
Kramer caught and spun down at the 20-yard line by Mo Lewis. Sack of the day for the Jets defense.
And again, Erik Kramer gets pulled by the jersey. Mo Lewis gets a finger in as he's reached around James Big Cat Williams. He would not let go. And Dave Wannstedt gets another situation here. What the heck? 4th down 23-7. You go for it.
It's 4th and 16 now from the Jet 20. Broken up and almost intercepted by Aaron Glenn. He wants a piece of the action, too. So the ball will go over to New York with 8:59 left.
It is a deliberate departure from the norm. 180 degrees from expected. Spacious leather-trimmed interior. Available heated front seats. And now it ties as J.D. Power and Associates' most appealing minivan. The new Chrysler Town & Country LXI. Built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Playing in the NFL means everything to me. No way I'm playing a video game without the NFL. I want the game that plays like NFL football. I want a game that has all the NFL teams. I want the game that gets me to the Super Bowl. Again! NFL Quarterback Club 98, the only officially licensed NFL game on N64. I think we have ourselves a new dynasty here. Acclaim Sports, sweat the details.
At 6 a.m., they begin to arrive from cities around the world.
Heads of major corporations share their vision,
their strategy. If these leaders were visiting a nation, it would be called a global economic summit.
When they arrive at Fidelity,
it's called just another day at the office. Just one of the ways we uncover opportunities to help you make the most of your money.
Next Saturday, Autry Denson leads the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in their final home appearance of the year as they host the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Then, the world's best 3-on-3 players strut their stuff against NBA legends of yesterday and WNBA stars of today in Hoop It Up's Court of Dreams. All next Saturday on NBC.
Fans huddling up. What few are left as the home team trails 23-7 and they just take over at their own 20. Adrian Morrell stopped for a loss. Well, the Jets running game returning to form. How important is the loss of Leon Johnson to that?
Well, I think Leon Johnson is a good change of pace guy for this offense, but Adrian Morrell's the man. He's the guy that rushed for 1,000 yards last year plus. Bill Parcells said he's a guy that can get me 1,000 yards again and again. He's got that kind of quality and that kind of talent, but he's not getting anywhere near the support he needs from that offensive line up front. About the same as last week against Miami.
Yeah, a little worse. Here he is again. Same result. Brian Cox did the damage that time.
Well, you know, this Bears defense coming into this game, giving up the points and yards they were kind of the monsters of the Midway. And this running game of the Jets is making them look like the monsters again.
Washington leading Dallas late in the fourth. Boy, the 49ers continue to look good, don't they?
The quality and the stability of an organization, you cannot overestimate what that does for a ball club. It's one of the things I think Bill Parcells doing the best job in New York is stabilizing the organization.
3 straight runs, net loss yardage. Brian Cox again.
The head Munster got him. Brian Cox gets in there at inside linebacker, and you know, he flat just makes things happen. He's not always the A kind of character guy you want around your football team, the way he shoots his mouth off about various subjects. But I tell you, he works hard, he gets there early. You can't question the effort on the football field.
He just loves football, Dave Wannstedt says. He'd play for, he'd go back to the old days when they played for $50. He'd still be there.
If he would, he'd be the first one from today's football, I guarantee you.
Brian Hansen will punt again to Tyrone Hughes. And the Jets have not scored still in the second half. Here's Hughes. Good coverage, Jets special teams. Marcus Coleman made the tackle. 4-yard return, the punt covered, 46.
ID confirmed.
Bond. James Bond.
ID confirmed. ID confirmed.
Tart?
Take a check.
Absolutely, James. Just need some ID.
Really, 007, you should use a Visa check card. It automatically deducts from your checking account everywhere Visa's accepted.
See, tomorrow never dies.
Some decisions are harder than others. The Chrysler Sebring LXI Coupe or the Sebring Limited Convertible. For the passionate side, fully independent suspension, speed-sensitive steering, multi-valve V6, and a luxurious leather-trimmed interior. The practical side, lease the convertible from just $299 a month. And on the coupe, get $1,000 cash back and luxurious leather at no charge. Some decisions are easier than others. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
It's the way the sun helps things grow in their own time. It's the way bread begins as an ocean of wheat before rising in the oven. The way onions can make you cry, even when you're laughing. And it's the way we make over 1 million people their favorite sandwich every day, which, in case you're keeping track, is more sandwiches than the entire population of North Dakota. Subway. It's the way a sandwich should be.
Next Sunday on the NFL on NBC, a big doubleheader. The Dolphins, the Patriots, a showdown atop the AFC East. Marino and Miami face Bledsoe and New England. Then the Chargers, the 49ers. Young and the NFC West leaders host Seattle and San Diego. Or regional action, the NFL on NBC next Sunday.
While we were away, I've been making the point about the offensive line, and I guarantee you the Tuna is making his point a lot more directly, possibly a bit saltier than my point.
Well, a victory by the Jets today will give them no worse than a share of first place, with New England losing today and Miami and Buffalo playing tomorrow night. But that is not a happy man to be in first place. Their defense has forced 5 turnovers, sacked the Bears 4 times. They've allowed only 42 yards rushing, but the offense has been non-existent.
Absolutely, Tom. That's the difference in this Jets team.
And, of course, Glenn Foley was injured. And that is a sticking point, a worrying spot for Jet fans. Doubly because Neil O'Donnell has been totally ineffective today.
Well, you know, it's a Jets football team that's been excellent in special teams, disciplined in defense, cut their turnovers way down, and we're looking for adequacy from their offense. And they have gotten nowhere near adequacy from the offense. And it's not the quarterback's fault, folks. It's the guys up front predominantly.
Kramer, short pass, juggled and then caught by Prohl, who dives into Jet territory, covered by Corwin Brown. Ricky Prohl getting the starting nod today and has had a productive afternoon/evening. time that Kramer short-armed another one, and that one didn't get there. Wet Knight was open, at least momentarily, but Kramer never got him the ball.
Well, Kramer gets rid of the ball because he's getting a blitz. Watch Todd Berger, the left guard, 75, pick up this blitz and literally collar Mickens, 24, right there. He just reaches out and grabs him around the neck and upper body and says no. You know, he's willing not to let his quarterback take a shot and maybe take a hold. In best case, he got away with it, and the quarterback didn't get hit.
That pass complete to a first down to Chris Penn, working against Otis Smith. Otis owned the first half. I give the second half to Penn.
Well, that would be the only sort of moral victory this Bears offense could claim against this defense. I think that has really done a heck of a job.
That pass knocked back in Kramer's face.
And what I really like about the job this Jets defense has done is just a physical job. And, you know, you've got a Jerome Henderson, in this case at safety, coming on a pass rush and knocking a ball down. That's what the defense is designed for. It's what he executes, and he does the little extra thing by knocking it down. You've seen Jet defenders all day long doing just the little extra thing. That type of football wins you division championships.
Kramer to Cole, and rookie Cole takes it to the 11-yard line. Working on Mickens that time. Kroll came wide open across the middle.
That's faith by Erik Kramer that his receiver was going to find a way to get open, and a good job of protection by that line for Chicago.
For the end zone. And incomplete. Smith and Penn battling for the football, and it hits the turf before winding up in the arms of Otis Smith.
Well, Otis heard your evaluation, Tom, that you were giving the second half to Penn. Figured he'd throw his ballot in here as far as here at the end of the fourth quarter. Look at the hand fighting. You got both players with their hands on the ball. Look at that. 4 hands, 1 football, no catch. They managed to rip it out of each other's hands.
So Smith deploys again on 2nd and 10. Kramer on the slant. Ball bounced off the hands of Bones and incomplete.
Oh, Victor Green is going to watch the tape tomorrow and know he had a early Thanksgiving turkey hovering above his head. Watch this ball get tipped. And watch Victor Green, 21, right here. Oh, the ball bounces up in the air. Anytime a defender sees a ball go up in this direction, they just salivate. It's one of those things, keep running, maybe you get it.
Kramer way overthrowing Bones, and it'll bring up another 4th down. Chicago has really sputtered in the red zone today.
They've been great between the 20s in this 3rd and 4th quarters. A totally different offense in the second half that has moved the ball effectively, gotten lots of yards, and have very little to show for it.
Well, today, Kramer 25 of 47, 289 yards, a touchdown, 3 picked off. 50% on the 4th down tries. Hands open, but can't get there. And while the Jets take over, we'll go back to New York and check in with Greg Guppy. Greg?
All right, Tom, it's San Francisco. Big day for Steve Young and the 49ers. This is Young's 44-yard touchdown toss to William Floyd. With the win, the Niners win their 10th straight. They go to 10-1, the best record in football, and they clinch their 6th NFC West title in the 90s, 27-19. Next week, you'll see the 49ers in our doubleheader game at home. They host San Diego. Tom?
All right, Greg. Well, the Jets are scoreless in the second half, but had that big first half cushion, 23-7, as their defense continues to hold the Bears for the most part out of the end zone. So at San Francisco, what most of you will see in the second half of the doubleheader next week. And some of those Fouts, Montana shootouts, they had to be fun to be a part of.
Well, there was one specifically I remember. You remember the great team they had back in '81, which didn't get to the championship game because Cincinnati beat them. And you know, Collingsworth got his AFC championship from that one, or one of his AFC championship rings. And a couple years later, we played them in a game that was an absolute 45-42 kind of a football game. Nobody punts, everybody scores. Those are always fun to be in. And the one we're going to do next week, I mean, the second one, San Diego, San Francisco. We'll talk about that Miami-New England game. It's going to be two desperate football teams. Because Miami, you look at Miami's record over the years with Buffalo, in Buffalo, to be back in a situation where you've got two New York first-place teams. You know, one other thing that's held true, the Jets came into the game today ranked 13th in the league in yards, but 7th in points. Well, they probably hurt that standing in yards with only 174 so far, but they've managed 23 points.
Adrian Morrell. Jets will just take as much time as they can, but it's Morrell continues to be the workhorse. Scott Zolak replacing Drew Bledsoe for the Patriots today, so I doubt there's a quarterback controversy going, but quarterback's very much the focus in the AFC East these days, and especially for that man, because with the injury to Glenn Foley today, the severity of which we don't quite know yet, Neil O'Donnell has not exactly sparkled in his relief job. 3 of 11 for 20 yards. Here's his 12th pass, and it's good. Caught for the first down by Jeff Graham. Following the game, most of these NBC stations, it's Dateline Sunday. A fire breaks out in a hotel room while you're fast asleep. Find out how to get out alive. Then an all-new Jenny, followed by the network television premiere of Batman Forever, starring Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, and Val Kilmer. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled time. Bears take a timeout at the 3:48 mark.
Well, you talked about Zolak in New England, Tom, and you know, no one knows better than Bill Parcells the way to stop an offense that Drew Bledsoe's in is to make an issue of him. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made an issue of Drew Bledsoe today.
There is a penalty flag down, and apparently O'Dwyer.
Right here, Matt O'Dwyer, number 70. Pass block. You remember him and Flanagan have been going at it for a while. You look at Flanagan, puts his arms around O'Donnell. O'Dwyer hits him. That's not a penalty.
Yeah, that was pretty tame.
The only guy that really did anything grossly illegal was Flanagan taking a swing, but I guess they got O'Dwyer for sticking that hand in the face mask.
Did have his hand in the face mask, but that was pretty tame, really.
He's trying to help him. He looked like he was going to fall down. He was holding him up.
Now the Jets take a timeout.
Their first charge timeout. 30 seconds.
NBC tonight.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat?
The network premiere of the biggest Batman of them all. Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Nicole Kidman. Batman Forever, 8:30, 7:30 Central. NBC tonight. And it definitely is night in the near vacant stands at Soldier Field. Bears could muster only a touchdown today while turning the ball over 5 times. 20 of the Jets' 23 points coming as a result of those turnovers.
Yeah, that defense has done things today that we haven't seen out of the Jets defense in a while. Just being a very disciplined but dominant defense.
And the much maligned Otis Smith, 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, and a deflection, which resulted in a Victor Green interception. He did give up 1 touchdown pass.
But absolutely, Tommy. And one of the things about any cornerback, an Otis Smith, an Aaron Glenn, anybody, you got to have a short memory. You got to celebrate the good ones, and you got to get over the bad ones fast.
Morrell So the Jets can do no worse than hold on to a share in first place in the AFC East. But now all the attention, I'm sure, will drift to the injury to Glenn Foley. How severe is the injury? He was taken from the game after Mark Thomas fell over him. He had his left ankle and knee x-rayed, and we've been told to expect no further updates on his condition today. Tyrone Hughes awaiting the Brian Hansen punt. It's almost like that football is like a piece of lead. It's not very live at all. It's a dead football in this cold as they kick it. 32-yard punt there.
That bounced off the Bear defender.
Yeah. They were able to recover it, however. So let's concede the victory to New York, which puts them at 7-4. Miami plays against Buffalo tomorrow night. New England losing at Tampa Bay today. Now at 6-5 and in a real tailspin in recent weeks. And we couldn't let these standings end without noting Indianapolis getting its first win against the defending Super Bowl champs today. If you're not ready to play, you can lose, as on the sideline, Matt O'Dwyer hears it again from Bill Parcells. And to repeat what Parcells told us, is that pass is complete. Chris Penn still on his feet inside the 40. Parcells addressing the issue of the over-aggressive O'Dwyer, saying he'll play the way I want him to play, or he'll be playing somewhere else.
Well, you talk about that AFC East standings, too. Those New England Patriots, as they lost that Monday night game to Denver, they're 2-5 over an 8-week stretch.
Kramer's arm hit as he released it.
Now, they're calling that one. That ball just slipped out of his hands. They're calling that a fumble and a recovery by the Bears.
So as ruled a fumble, the Bears did recover it. Marvin Jones hit his arm, but it was not moving forward, apparently.
See, that's Hugh Douglas coming from the backside that causes that ball to come loose.
And it's the 5th sack of the day for the Jets. Ryan Wetnight on the receiving end of that pass as we come to the 2-minute warning. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
I've got some great ideas for a website. We could have a spinning logo or a flaming logo.
You know what would be a great idea? If people with PCs anywhere could order our products, and that was all tied together, inventory, billing, vendors, you know, the works, then that would change everything.
I don't know how to do that.
In a perfect world, broccoli would taste more like ice cream. In the real world, Diet Dr. Pepper does taste more like regular Dr. Pepper. It's the taste you've been looking for.
The Panasonic Razor. Shave wet or shave dry. Your choice. Your shave. Rinse clean. Work hard. Play hard. Shave your way. Panasonic.
Why am I always the last to know? When we got the Peterson account, I was the last to know. The merger? Last to know. Hey, we got a new logo?
Introducing Ship Alert from FedEx.com. More than tracking, it can email you the moment a package has been shipped.
First to know. Smith, the shipment just left Italy, and you heard it here first.
Smith was transferred a month ago.
Of course he was. I knew that.
Be the first to know with FedEx Ship Alert.
Tuesday, Maya's new man has a little identity crisis.
Just call me the Great Woody. By the way, Mark Twain called. Can't make it for racquetball.
Oh, did we mention? He's a crazed stalker.
Just watch out, pal. You better watch out, because that's a nice shirt and I'm a bleeder.
Just shoot me. The Spotlight Show of the Week, NBC, Tuesday.
Do you believe this?
Wannstedt's Bears trailing 23-7. Erik Kramer has thrown career-high 50 passes. The Bears have attempted 55 pass plays today. Kramer 27 of 50, 312 yards, as you see. Darnell Autry ball stripped away, but it goes out of bounds. Aaron Glenn. Well, Darnell Autry got his starring role, his first NFL start today. What do you think?
Kind of a B movie.
Yep.
You know, it's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes kind of a debut for Darnell Autry.
Didn't have a chance in many of the things. So a thumbs not up or down, sort of in between.
Sort of sideways,
right.
You know. Not much of a supporting cast really held him back. You know, Tom, I'll tell you what, if the Jets fly back, if they have any kind of a service situation, they've got your flight attendants, they should have the regular flight attendants all go sit down, and the Jets offensive players ought to serve Bill Parcells' staff and the defense. And they don't eat until all those guys are done, because the offense has done very little today to deserve any kind of service on the way home.
Jerome Henderson with that hit of Mike Delaney sort of typified the hard-hitting Jet defense today, which caused 5 Chicago turnovers and led to 20 of 23 New York points. Kramer still in there pitching. Bones to the 10-yard line, approaching the 1-minute mark.
Given the motion to spike the ball, also getting into that impenetrable zone they've suffered most of the day today.
Stops the clock at 1:16.
It's like been a glass wall here in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Once they get to about the 15 or 10-yard line, Parcells' defense has just been snuffing everything Wannstedt's offense throws at them.
Washington and Dallas with 1:34 left, locked at 14. San Francisco rolling over the Panthers.
15 straight seasons of 10 wins or more for San Francisco.
Kramer complete to Cole at the 5-yard line. Ticking down toward 1 minute.
And another stupid mistake by a Jet defender. Ray Mickens took a swing right at the head of one of the offensive linemen for the Bears, Todd Berger. And they called that on Berger?
Well, sometimes it's the one who retaliates that is nabbed, but let's see.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 63 offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 3rd down.
Remember 2 things. One, this is an end of a play. Got the receiver left of the screen. There's Berger coming through on Mickens, standing around the pile. Oh, there's the shot. I didn't see that right shot into the chops by Berger.
Yeah, that forearm shiver.
That'll do it.
Actually, it's been a well-officiated game.
It really has. I mean, you've seen a situation here with our referee, Bob McElwee. They've moved things along. Very few conferences, very few problems.
Second down and 19 from the 20-yard line in the closing minute of this game. Jets did not score in the second half. Glenn Foley injured in the first. But the Jets on their way to victory. In fact, the Jets and Bears had met only 5 times before today, and the Jets had just 1 win before today. First meeting 23 years ago, Joe Willie Namath leading the Jets to a 23-21 victory here at Soldier Field. So the Jets about to rack up only their 2nd victory against the Chicago Bears. And what would a Jets game be without at least one reference to Joe Namath? Kramer.
There's that matchup again. Otis Smith working against Chris Penn.
Looked like a lot of contact before the ball got there, but no flag.
Well, the most interesting looking contact was at the end, with Otis Smith looked to be putting his hands on top of Chris Penn's head. Because Erik Kramer's putting this thing up there, hoping Penn can get it. That's just good defense, and a case of the receiver in Penn quitting on his pattern and stopping.
2 interceptions. He gave up 1 touchdown. What do you think? Otis Smith, is he a new player with renewed confidence now?
I don't think anybody gets too cocky on this Jets football team. Yeah, I mean, they don't forget last year's experience, and to be honest with you, they play with a little bit of fear in their hearts. And it's not fear of losing again, it's fear of that guy right there.
Face mask called against the Jets.
First down.
And Chicago has a first down. Don't throw your glove away now. Now, that's not a good move.
Well, not when it's this cold out there, but you see that kind of emotion. And that emotion from Bill Parcells tells you the expectation level that those kind of mistakes like Hamilton makes there, grabbing Kramer by the face and hitting him in the head, resulting in that penalty.
Sloppy play. Interesting that Chicago has outgained the Jets. Penalties all even at 8. But Chicago, which will lose this game, has outgained New York by a considerable margin. And the Jets have just had 132 yards in the first quarter, 194 total. There you are, total yards. 132 of those are in the first quarter. Kramer's pass to Cole. Can he make the end zone? No. Good defensive play by Victor Green. As Cole ran laterally trying to get the angle for the end zone, couldn't make it.
It's been the case. This Jets defense in this red zone area using the shortened field has given Erik Kramer this offense absolutely nothing to work with. You can run sideways all you want. All it's there is out of bounds.
And the Bears spend their final timeout with 39 seconds left.
14, Washington 14.
Well, we have a moment as Kramer confers with Wannstedt. We will remind you next week, NFL resumes 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Then the first game of the doubleheader, most of you will see Miami against New England, or regional action. And then in the second game, primary game, San Diego, San Francisco. Some of you will see Jacksonville, Cincinnati, or Kansas City, Seattle. Check your local listings as the NFL returns to NBC next Sunday starting at 12 noon Eastern time.
Well, we've got the Super Bowl here at NBC, and I don't think it's exactly going on a limb, but if you had to pick them right now, I'd say my old team, San Francisco's got a great shot at ending up there at Qualcomm Park, or whatever they're calling that down in San Diego, where the Super Bowl is this year.
Well, they seem to be the best team in the league as of this week.
You know what? They're a defensive team.
Kramer's pass, incomplete.
Well, that's what the Jets have been this week, or today on Sunday, has been a defensive football team. Just a suffocating defense on Dave Wannstedt's offense in the first half, and a frustrating defense in the second half. Giving them the yards, but not giving them the points.
Glenn Foley injured in the first half. The severity of the injury not yet known. Jets defense forcing 5 Chicago turnovers, resulting in 20 New York points. And no worse than a share of first place in the AFC East, pending tomorrow night's Miami-Buffalo game. Ricky Cole outfights Aaron Glenn for the football, and finally the Bears do score a touchdown. Their second of the game, second in the second half.
I made the point earlier, if one thing's been proven on this offense for the Chicago Bears is there's no quit in this receiver, Ricky Prohl, for Chicago. He has been the offensive weapon for Erik Kramer in the passing game.
And they'll go for 2. Kramer may need a sling for his arm tomorrow. That was his 60th pass attempt. Here's 61. Nope. Didn't get it away. Knocked free. There is a penalty flag down.
Holding. Number 46, defense. We'll retry after the penalty.
Well, it might have been 45. I don't know. There is no 46. Meanwhile, Ricky Prohl has caught 11 balls today, Randy. His 9th 100-yard receiving day, 118 yards.
And that 11 catches is his career high. Was 9. You know, Tom, it is kind of fun to watch a guy like that, even in a game where everyone else around him is getting frustrated, have that kind of a day.
They'll go for 2 once more after the penalty. This time they'll run it in, and it's good. Darnell Autry. First points of Autry's NFL career on the 2-point conversion.
Next up, the onside kick from Chicago and the hands team from the Jets.
And by the way, Kramer not only has the career high, he has a Bears record, 60 pass attempts in this game. There it is, not only his career high, but a Bears record. He even sat on the sideline for a couple series while Steve Stenstrom came on.
And the way things were going for Erik Kramer and the Bears offense at that point, it was a pretty good breather for Erik Kramer because his numbers significantly improved after he came back from that breather.
It's the 7th 300-yard passing game of his career. And even 30 seconds remaining. They have
12 plays, 51 yards, to 219.
Look at this right here. You're looking for a bounce, pop-up right about in that area right there.
All right, there's the diagram. Let's see if it can fit the pattern. 1, 2, no. Picked up alertly by the Jets hands team, Wayne Cravett.
That's perfect execution. It's risky grabbing the ball before it goes that 10 yards like that, because if it hits you and bounces off, it's going to be a recovery by the other team. But if that ball can get back to the ground, it is going straight up in the air. Kickers work on this all the time. Going down for recovery. First couple of guys are going to block. Next couple of guys are on recovery. No chance to bounce. Good hands by Cravett.
Well, a bit of a bittersweet victory for the New York Jets. They'll take it because they'll stay in first place, but they'll wonder about the injury to Glenn Foley, and they'll worry about their offense, which scored only 3 of their 23 points today. And Otis Smith, a bit of redemption, had an interception for a touchdown, had another interception, deflected one to Victor Green for a pickoff, did give up a touchdown pass. 23-15. We'll be back to wrap things up from Chicago right after this.
We come here on a glorious quest, a search for that which can be found nowhere else. Where, in the trenches where mighty men clash, amidst the echoes of glories past, high atop Olympus. Oh, this is our quest. This is what football is all about. Now all I gotta do is find that nacho guy.
It is 180 degrees from expected. It is a leather-trimmed interior, available heated front seats, and an Infinity 10-speaker audio system. The new Chrysler Town & Country LXI, built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. And now it's available with $1,000 cash back or a very special low lease rate. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
There's the smack. Williams, wide open. Oh, he blew it. Here come the team doctor. This kid is tough as nails. Real professional. Are you hurt?
Yeah, I'm hurt. When people boo, it hurts my feelings.
Don't you think they have a right to boo?
No.
The ball hit you right in the numbers.
No, it didn't. I don't think the quarterback likes me.
Of course he likes you. The whole team likes you.
Why can't he feel my pain?
Post-incompletion stress disorder.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers.
Hey, turn that frown upside down. There you go.
I've been the equipment manager for the New York Jets for over 34 years. I've suited up more than 3,000 players. As long as I've worked this long, it's crazy to retire. The Jets are like my family. They're like my own kids.
I'm Greg Gumbel in New York. It's all over in Dallas. The Cowboys rallied. They were down 14-6, tied it with 2 minutes to play, and then Richie Cunningham, with 4 seconds remaining in regulation, the 42-yard field goal. Dallas wins at 17-14. Redskins, Cowboys are 6-5, a game back in the NFC East. Back to Chicago. Tom Hammond.
All right, Greg, and here at Soldier Field, it was the Jets over the Bears by a final count of 23-15. Tonight on Dateline, a fire breaks out in a hotel room while you're fast asleep. Find out how to get out alive. Then an all-new Jenny, followed by the network television premiere of Batman Forever, starring Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, and Val Kilmer. So for Randy Cross and Len Berman, this is Tom Hammond saying so long from Chicago. You've been watching the NFL on NBC, home of the Super Bowl.
Notre Dame football, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the National Football League, and the Super Bowl, and the 2000, 2002, and 2004 Olympic Games, all on America's sports leader, NBC.
Dateline Sunday, you're fast asleep in a hotel room when a fire breaks out. Hundreds have died this way. What would you do? Find out how to get out alive. Dateline tonight.
Inside this building, 5 small and medium-sized businesses are connected to a new kind of phone company. WinStar has local, long-distance, internet services, and more. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can speak with real, live human beings who can handle any situation with efficiency and grace. Get ready to see things from a phone company you've never seen before. Call 1-888-WinStar. We're the new phone company.
What's the fastest way to get gas? Mobile Speed Pass car tag. Put one in your rear window, and it automatically bills your credit card. Just think if you could buy everything that fast.